ordinance to amend the winter parking ban at the request of the Chief McNamara. I'll call roll. Councilor DeZoglio.
Present.
Councilor Drew.
Here.
Councilor McLaren.
Present.
Councilor Petch.
Present.
Councilor Santos.
Present.
Councilor Samad.
Here.
Councilor Soto.
Present.
Councilor Valley.
Present.
And myself. We're all here. So, Chief, knowing this is this request is from you, I don't know if you want to give us a synopsis here, please.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for having me. Let me start by saying that this is a product of, I'd say, the last 2 years, there've been growing frustration amongst residents of our city and amongst the previous city council, and of course our mayor, and frankly, myself. What we've seen over the last couple of years is increasing non-compliance with the existing ordinance. And frankly, I think what's happening is there are residents that are simply conducting their own cost-benefit analysis. They're looking out their window and looking at the trouble of moving their car and deciding that it's not worth the potential $25 fine to move it. Now, we saw that happen again this year. December 5th was our first snowstorm. We sent our police officers out into all the various areas of our city. They tried to track down every car that they could find in violation to apply the $25 ticket in hopes that people would move their car so we could do an adequate job of plowing. We're able to get to 280 violators. Those are the only ones we could get to. I would suspect that there were probably double as many violators out there on that particular night, and that's problematic from a public safety perspective. We have to do something to deter people from parking on our city streets during snow emergencies. So the council and the previous council in the past year, they asked us to go back and look at what other cities and towns are doing and determine if there was a better way forward for the city of Methuen. So what you'll see is I had two proposals initially that I had intended to go in front of the Public Safety Subcommittee of the council. I've always favored option 2 over the option 1. Option 1 had to do with the alternative parking proposal. Frankly, I think that's off the table for this discussion, given that we're so deep into the season now. I think it would require a robust public information campaign if we're going to do something along those lines in the future. I'm not opposed to doing something along the lines of option number 1, the alternative parking proposal, in the future. I just don't think that's the right thing to do tonight. Option 2 is pretty straightforward. The major thing that I'm asking that we do is we increase the fine from $25 to $100 for first-time violators. The reason being is I want to gain compliance, and the $25 is simply not getting it done. The other major change, under the current ordinance, residents are prohibited from parking on our city streets from December 1st all the way to April 1st. Now, the truth of the matter is we're not out there enforcing that every night. Frankly, we're just enforcing it when we know that we're going to have a snow emergency. We're going to be out there plowing. But as I said, it has not been enough to get it done. The change now would mean this would not be predicated on what month of the year it is. All the current parking rules and regulations would remain in force. If you can park somewhere in July, you can park there in January. The only difference now would be if we declare a snow emergency because we want to engage in plowing, that every car would have to be removed from our city streets for the duration of that stated snow emergency so that we can do an adequate job of plowing. Under the existing ordinance, we can only do this, these ticketing operations from 1 a.m. until 6 a.m. And as you know, the snow falls after 6 a.m. and before 1 a.m. So it makes perfect sense to me to only require that residents move their cars when we're actively plowing, but ask that everyone be removed. The other thing we've done here in terms of, it was late this afternoon, and I understand that not all the city councils may have their email up and running, but I did send an update which basically outlines the differences between the existing ordinance as it is today and the one that I'm proposing under option 2. And if I could just summarize those briefly, it'll just take me 2 or 3 minutes. Under the activation and duration, as I just said, the current ordinance runs from December 1st to April 1st. The new ordinance would only come into play during a certified snow emergency as declared by the police chief or my designee. So that would be a major difference. As far as parking restrictions, the existing ordinance strangely prohibits parking longer than 1 hour during the restricted hours. So essentially, to adequately enforce existing ordinance, we'd be out there chalking tires to make sure that nobody moved their car 10 feet forward. I think that's prohibitive from our point of view, and we want to change that. So instead, under this new proposal, we say that you can't park at all during the snow emergency, but we also offer these alternative parking locations. And perhaps there are other areas that maybe some city councilors might want to expand upon, but these are the ones that come to mind where we can allow city residents to park during the snow emergency. One would be the Pelham Street Park and Ride. Another would be the Neil Plaisted ball fields around the Lawrence and East Street area, the municipal parking lot on Lawrence Street, the municipal parking lot on Hampshire Street and Lowell Street, and finally the Methuen High School Stadium. We would ask that when the snow emergency is declared over, that residents who use those overflow parking options remove their vehicles within 2 hours of the stated end to the snow emergency. That way we could get those areas adequately plowed as well. Under exemptions, under the previous ordinance, there really are no exemptions. There's a loose reference to emergency vehicles, but we want to go a little further in terms of the exemptions, obviously providing exemptions for public safety, police, fire, and ambulance, and DPW workers, but also for those residents that have handicap plates or placards. If we saw those vehicles parked and they weren't impeding our snow plowing operations, we would endeavor not to ticket or tow those vehicles. And finally, we're aware of medical personnel that, such as visiting nurses and that sort of thing. We would issue a permit for those people so that they're not ticketed or erroneously towed. As far as the notification system, right now we're all familiar with the December 1st to April 1st. I think we're all loosely aware that you can't park on our city streets during that time period. We'd like to be more robust in terms of our notification system. The idea is to have a city website that is updated, to send out notifications via our various social media platforms, alerting our city residents to the existence of a snow emergency. We have an app, Alert Me, that residents can sign up for so they can get timely notifications. We have the ability to use our HyperReach system. That's a software platform we use when we want to send out a community notification, as we did not too long ago with the incidents that unfolded on our border with Salem, New Hampshire. When we want to send something out, we can do that, and we can certainly use the HyperReach system to notify our residents that there's a snow emergency currently in place. We have a dedicated information line that is currently up and running, and there's all kinds of other things we can do in the future, such as community education sessions, and we even look towards what our neighbors to the south have done in Lawrence in terms of their blue light notification system. They have blue lights at various locations throughout the city. When residents see those blue lights, they realize that there's a current snow emergency in place. Finally, two other things to touch on real quick. The current ordinance doesn't really call for any post-storm enforcement. We've all seen those situations where someone may have escaped detection of the police department. Maybe they were subject to towing during the snow emergency. They never moved their vehicle, and 3 days later, they're still in a snowbank. We should be able to deal with those vehicles. So under the proposed ordinances, we would still have enforcement authority for 48 hours for vehicles that don't move, and they're essentially buried in snowbanks. And finally, and most importantly, it's the $25 fine versus the $100 fine. I want to stress that this is not about revenue generation. It's about compliance, and it's about public safety. I've heard many times the concern, and I share this concern. There are in fact residents of our city that would have to choose. If they would get a citation along these lines, $100 is a significant fine, and I certainly don't want any of our residents to choose between paying a fine and putting food on their table or paying for their medicine. That's a major concern for you, and it's a major concern for me. And that's why I would propose tonight that, and I summarized this in the email I sent out earlier, every resident that gets a parking ticket they have the ability to appeal that fine. Once a month, the city treasurer, who sits in as a hearing office, sits in and oversees those parking violation hearings. I would be fully supportive of any city resident, irrespective of their financial concerns, but any city resident who was a first-time violator of this $100 fine, if they appeal and they show up for their appeal and they acknowledged the wrongdoing, they acknowledge the existence of this ordinance moving forward, and they proposed or that they will endeavor to comply with it in the future, I'm fully supportive of waiving the fine the first time, because at least we've got someone who came in, they've acknowledged their wrongdoing, and now they're fully aware of the ordinance and they're promising compliance in the future. It's all about compliance. As much as I hear that there are residents that can't afford to pay that fee, there's also residents that can't afford not to have emergency services get to their door when they need it most. And I think we have to look out for those residents as well. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you may have.
So before I go to questions, we have one letter that was sent to the council office I'd like to read first, and then I'll move on to questions from the council. Dear members of the Methuen City Council, I am writing as the owner of Country Kitchen Restaurant located at 18 Hampshire Street to respectfully urge City Council to maintain the current winter parking ban as it presently enforced and to refrain from adopting either of the proposed changes under consideration. We open at 5:30 a.m. and the vast majority of our customers rely on on-street parking along Hampshire Street. The existing winter parking ban, which prohibits parking from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., has proven to be effective and practical. It allows the Department of Public Works the sufficient time to plow and clean the streets while ensuring that the parking is available once the business is open, enabling us to operate without disruption. We do not believe that an odd-even parking system would improve conditions on Hampshire Street, nor do we believe that the proposed snow emergency downtown parking restrictions are a viable alternative. These options do not adequately take into account the needs of the business community, particularly small, early opening establishments like ours that depend on accessible street parking for customers and employees. The current policy strikes an opportunity balance between the public safety, snow removal operation, and economic activity. Changing it would create unnecessary challenges for the downtown businesses without providing a clear and meaningful benefit. For these reasons, we respectfully ask the City Council to leave the winter parking ban unchanged. Respectfully, Lynn Shea. So with that, questions from the council. Councilor Smart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the chief. Chief, thank you for you to come forward and request this. This increase in the fine means that your heart is with public safety, and so was mine, and I get it. I have mixed emotions. Some of the questions I have, and you're right about the city south of us, where not only are you going to get your car towed, but you're going to pay a storage fee, and you're going to get a ticket attached to the windshield. It's tough getting to a house when you can't get there because no one's moved their car for 2 days and they don't care. So I'm all for public safety. Some of the questions I have is when you give out 280 tickets or what have you in a night on a big snowstorm, who's going to field those complaints when that person gets that ticket, sees it's $100? Are they coming to the police department? If they do, who are they referring them to? And they're probably going to come here. I know there's an appeal process, but I think we have to have that plan in place too for that reason. And the other question would be related to that failure to pay the fines, even after an appeal. Would it then attach to their registration where it would be non-renewable until they pay that? Or would they have to go to, would we have to take them to small claims to recoup that money?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, I imagine that none of us is immune from hearing the complaints, but I suspect most of them will be fielded by the police department. And I would urge you, if you receive any, just to refer them to us, and we'll explain the appeal process. And we'll fully explain what the new ordinance, if it is in fact enacted, what it entails and what it requires of our residents. The other question was in terms of the enforceability. When you get a parking ticket and you don't pay it, ultimately it attaches to your license through the RMV. So there'll be additional surcharges. For example, we just looked at one this afternoon. I think a $25 ticket turns into like an $85 surcharge if you don't pay it. Additional liens and what have you get attached. Ultimately, they have to pay it, or they lose their ability to get a renewed driver's license. So eventually, these fines get paid. When you did mention the towing, and I want to say that I wholeheartedly want to avoid towing people's vehicles, and that's all the more reason why I think an adequate fine is needed. Frankly, we don't have the capacity to tow the vehicles. What happened last year, the council and the residents were so frustrated with the how the plowing was getting done, and it's certainly not the fault of the DPW. They simply have to try to navigate around all these cars that are illegally parked. But people were so frustrated that we finally started towing vehicles. And I really want to avoid towing vehicles this year if I can. I mean, I look at the cost, and once you're done adding up all the various fees, if your car gets towed, you're probably going to end up paying $200 to get your car back. That is an enormous cost, and one I want to avoid. That's why I'd like to maintain more control over simply with the issue of these parking tickets, with the full knowledge and understanding that residents who come in, who acknowledge that they were parked erroneously and endeavor to do better, that we can waive those fines with the help of the city treasurer, if that's the directive that the treasurer has. The idea is to gain compliance so that we can plow adequately, so we can provide emergency services when needed. And even I know I don't want to respond directly to the constituents' letter, but when you talk about small businesses and what have you, it's equally important that we do an adequate job of plowing so that those spots are available for their prospective customers to park in the following days following a snow event. So my reasoning behind this request is all about public safety and trying to gain compliance. I'm fully supportive of waiving these fines the first time around, first-time offenders.
Okay, thank you. That answers my questions, and I'm in support of it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Petch?
Thank you. In regards to that letter we received, are there any potential accommodations we can make for businesses like that? Like, enlighten me. So if we have a parking ban, in essence, businesses can still open, yes? It's not like a state of emergency or something like that where there wouldn't be a time that the business would be open, right? They can happen at the same time?
I see your point. So if we have a business that's open like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're still in the midst of a snow emergency. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that can happen.
Yeah, I could see how there'd be overlap there. I think for practical purposes, we're certainly not going to be ticketing or towing during that period of time.
Are there any accommodations we can make within this to have like business highway or specifically like downtown, because our center is very limited as to where the parking, where patrons are available to park, right?
Yeah.
So is there something we can do? Is there something we can add in, like a priority of plowing, or maybe keep those hours in place so that it's open for business hours and we can make a priority to plow those areas?
Yeah, certainly. That's not the intent to discourage customers from attending a business, even during a snow emergency. So yeah, I mean, we'd have to think about how to craft such a waiver. But I'm certainly open to that, and that's certainly not our intent to ticket or tow those vehicles.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. Like I said, I need to let it marinate. I am completely in support of it, and I will defer to your expertise.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense with everything you said, and I appreciate the one-time forgiveness, because I think that will that makes a lot of sense for a lot of residents, especially if they're unaware of the increase the first time. So I think it makes sense. I just want to make sure that we're not shorting those small businesses too.
I think one of the things that I want to point out, under the existing ordinance, we do have authority to ticket and tow, and there aren't really any exemptions for visiting nurses or the handicapped or what have you. So the things that we added are essentially exemptions that don't exist currently. So, but I do appreciate that point, because we're saying that you have to remove your car for the duration of the snow emergency. And it's certainly not the intent to start ticketing customers of businesses. And again, it's the Methuen Police Department that's going to be conducting these ticketing operations. And We exercise a considerable amount of discretion currently. We don't ticket people or tow people that don't deserve to be ticketed or towed. So I want to do everything I can to avoid that type of situation, and I'm open-minded to any amendments that you may propose.
Council Santos.
So I have a question. How did you come up with that numbers? 100 for the first fine, 200 for the second. Did you look into other cities that has the same problems and compare for what we're going through to use those numbers?
Yeah, we did. We looked at quite a few, and full disclosure, Deputy Chief Hagar kind of took the ball and ran with this, but he did a deep analysis, and he looked at some of the more progressive cities in the Commonwealth to see how they were doing things. A lot of what we're doing is mirrored after Cambridge, Chelsea, those cities that have similar type of congestion and similar type of fine structures. We took the best ideas from various cities and towns and try to make our own proposal.
Just because we are so already far away into the winter time, and obviously that this is where we're facing the problem, and we want to find a solution now. I just feel it's a little bit too late because I know the biggest issues probably are in the central district where we have more multifamilies. And from my point of view, there's a lot of families that won't be able to afford $100 fine, even if they can come and fight it and get it reimbursed. And I totally agree with with the plan, and I like it. But my biggest concern is that the biggest problems is basically in the central district, especially in those areas where people have 2 and 3 jobs sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to mobilize their car. So I don't know. Maybe I want to see something else.
So to answer some of your concerns, I agree that there are many residents who cannot afford a $100 fine. I think that's just the point. We don't want people to pay the fine. We want them to comply and move their car so that we can do an adequate job of plowing that neighborhood. Those same people that live in those congested neighborhoods, they also cannot afford to not get emergency services when they need it most. And I think we have to balance the need of those residents against the others that choose not to comply. I would say that whether it's a $25 fine or a $100 fine, the residents of every area of our city know that when there's a snow emergency, they're supposed to move their vehicle. Every one of them, every resident knows that. That's been the long-standing custom, practice, and law in this community for a long time. The issue now is that we're having hundreds and hundreds, 280, and I said those are only the 280 residents that we got to that were in violation this last time around. If we don't do something, if we don't raise the fine, we have to have something to deter residents from deciding to keep their car on that city street. The idea is if we can get them to move their car, even in these congested areas, we can do a thorough and adequate job of plowing. And now all that parking is readily available to them on all the subsequent nights when the snow emergency has long since passed. We could do a better job. It'll increase parking for them in the future. It'll increase parking for businesses in the future, residents alike. And most importantly, emergency services will be able to get to residents when they need it most. That's my prevailing concern.
Council DeZoglio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, thank you for your presentation, but also thank you for your phone call today. And you already know what I'm going to ask. My concern is the 80-year-olds, senior citizens that don't have driveways and they park on the street, and now you're putting them in a designated location that they have to walk back to their houses, potentially in a snowstorm. So, and I understand what you're saying entirely about, sometimes for the greater good, but I want to explain how we are going to respond to them, because there's a lot of people that I've already talked to that says, Ryan, I can't walk up a hill to go back to my apartment that I don't have a driveway for. So can you just explain to the public
Sure.
for that?
Yeah, 100%. So again, I think what we have to analyze tonight is the contrast between the existing ordinance as it reads today and the proposed ordinance. So the existing ordinance gives the police full authority to ticket and tow currently. So right now, the Methuen Police Department enjoys the discretion to ticket and tow, but the fact of the matter is we don't ticket and tow residents who we don't need to. So if we were to see, currently, if we were to see a handicap placard, a handicap plate, and someone who's not really interfering with the plowing operation, we don't ticket those cars and we don't tow those cars. We exercise our discretion judiciously. The only difference here is in this proposed ordinance, we go a little bit further and we outline specific exemptions, and we specifically say now, and we don't specifically say it prior, but now we're actually saying it, that vehicles displaying a valid handicap placard or plate when parked in an accessible space, because there are some spaces that are designated for handicap, those are areas that we wouldn't ticket or tow, obviously, and others that are parked on a city street, but they're not obstructing a plowing operation. If we can see that a placard or a handicap plate is validly displayed, we'd exempt those vehicles as well. That said, I think everyone has an incentive, even if you're handicapped, if you're able, or maybe you can rely on an able-bodied friend or family member, someone to help you. If you could get that vehicle off of our city street, it's better for you as a resident, it's better for your neighbors. Everyone has to do their part to make our community a little bit safer, but we wrote this ordinance with having in mind what appropriate exemptions are. And like I said, under the current ordinance, we could ticket and tow that handicapped person if we're inclined to do so, but we never do. And all we're saying now is in writing that that's part of our plan to avoid ticketing and towing those people whenever appropriate.
Thank you.
Council Valley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chief, for the presentation. I have a question regarding the permits application for essential workers. Is that going to be online, or do they need to go in person to the police department? How is that going to work?
Yeah, we're gonna have to create some a system where a visiting nurse can tell us that. And right now they're doing it informally. So right now we do get calls when snow is on the horizon. We'll field a handful of calls, and it's all handled informally. Where someone says, "Yeah, but I visit so and so on this particular street. I'm an overnight visiting nurse," and then we get the message out not to ticket or tow. I want to formalize that process and maybe give some sort of like laminated certificate that they can display in a window, and maybe they have to re-up it every year or so. That's something I haven't really fully vetted out, but that's something that we want to address, because we recognize that there are people that are servicing members of a community that need to be there overnight, and they need to be right out in front.
Did it have a cost?
Say again?
A cost for the permit? Do they need to pay?
I don't think we need to have a cost associated with it, no.
Okay. Thank
No.
you. Thank you very much.
Council Drew.
Chief, you would, I want to talk about option 2, and then we'll get into option 1. You parking lot patrol, because all these people are going to park off, and just want to ease some of the people's minds that you will up the patrols in those areas so that we're not just leaving vehicles in parking lots away from people's homes, so people have a level of comfort if we're going to use those.
100%. So right now the city is broken into 6 geographical areas or sectors. They're proactive patrol sectors. There's a uniformed patrol officer in each of those areas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each of those patrol officers are aware of certain situations that they should proactively patrol. Obviously, if we're going to have city lots that residents are coming and going from, city lots where people's most prized possession, their vehicle, is going to be, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we're conducting extra proactive checks in those areas to make sure that nobody's car is broken into, for example.
Okay. And at the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned, there's option 1, option 2. You're more in favor of option 2 because of timeline, right? You can't implement option 1 right now and try to get all of it out and educate everybody. Would the thought be maybe we could do option 2 through this snow system, sunset it out come April 1st or whatever, and then maybe September 1st to start implementing option 1, so we go to the opposite side traffic to allow people to be able to still park in their neighborhoods and do alternate parking.
Yeah, I would say if it's the will of the council to go to an alternative parking methodology similar to that of what the city of Lawrence does, I'm certainly willing to explore that with the council. I think that we need to do robust community notification if we're going to do that. I think that there is like a lot of physical signage that we need to change in the city. I'm sure Council Samard will share this, that if I worked in Lawrence for 25 years, I must have answered the question 25,000 times over the phone, which side am I supposed to park on tonight? People never really do get it, and it's confusing. So for a host of reasons, I'm somewhat concerned about the alternative parking, but I do think if we choreographed it appropriately, that we could accomplish that if that's the will of the council.
Okay, yeah, I worked, when I lived in Lawrence, it seemed to work out pretty good. I mean, obviously you guys probably have a little more insight to that, but thank you.
Thank you.
Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to the chief. So you stated, Chief, that there's a 2-hour window for pickup.
Yes.
Can you run me down what that looks like? So I drop, and by the way, I can appreciate the lots that were mentioned. I'm assuming city lots / state lots are owned.
Yeah.
City or state, right? But I don't see any in the east. I could be wrong. Maybe Methuen High. I think that's still central. But could we identify something in the east?
Yeah, I might have to lean on some of you for some ideas in terms of where else we could do this. I mean, I think the more spots we can identify, the better.
Okay.
Definitely open-minded about that. And as far as the 2 hours, I'm open-minded to hear suggestions. If you think 4 or 6 is better, at some point we need to get the cars out of those lots as well so that they can adequately be plowed too. So,
yeah.
But,
so I'm thinking more of like an elderly person may get stressed by the timeline of the 2 hours.
Yeah, sure.
As opposed to someone that can, that's just my train of thought.
Yep.
So I would like to see that expanded if possible.
Sure.
On Councilor Pesha's note, an overlay of if we can identify those businesses, there's not many that are open at 5 a.m. in Methuen. I'll be honest with you, like an overlay where you guys can actually map out and I don't want to say exempt them, but figure out a plan that can be communicated to those businesses so they feel comfortable with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And saying like, so the overlay of, let's talk downtown, right? There's that, I think there's how many businesses there that open? I think that's it.
Broadway too.
Broadway. So you got that family restaurant, I believe, is open early. And it's at Broadway and then downtown.
Yeah, I think what we're talking about here is any private business that uses public on-street parking, right? I'm
Correct.
not sure.
Correct. And I don't think that business on Broadway does on-street. So that probably wouldn't fit into the overlay, but definitely that downtown because they don't have their own parking. Mm-hmm. And am I wrong? I know there's the newly developed mixed use on that in downtown. I believe they have some designated parking, but there's some new residences right on Hampshire, like above the old liquor store. I don't think they have I could be wrong.
No, there's definitely a number of private businesses that rely on city on-street parking. But
you also have, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Chief, you also have that little lot there that's public parking, like when you're, where we do the events for Methuen, like on the left side.
Yes.
So, I mean, that can be used as an off.
Yeah, the whole idea is that they would use alternative parking arrangements other than the public street, right? But I think the concern is there are like mom and pop type businesses that have sprung up all across our city on what is looked at as largely like residential streets, right? And I see the point of Councilor Pesci that they might be open during normal business hours, which may coincide with the snow emergency, and we should have some exemption for customers that are visiting an establishment that's open. So we'd have to contemplate how we're going to craft that exemption, but I'm fully supportive of it.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, and I did see DPW's in full support. I'm sure that's because it makes their life easier. So I appreciate them sending that on your behalf. Thank you.
Thanks.
Pass the gavel for a
Thank
minute.
you.
Everyone else set? I just have one comment first, and then, the Methuen PD does use a lot of discretion now. So,
Yes.
and we all realize that there's not many cars that are towed. You guys do a great job of that. And timing of a storm is everything. If a storm starts at noontime, there's a lot more people, businesses that are affected that are on Broadway, Hampshire Street, Swan Street, things like that. So we need to come up with clarify how we're going to help those, just give them some assurance how we're going to handle that for them so that they can still have customers, right? Because if a storm starts at noontime and the emergency starts at 2 o'clock, right, people are still out shopping. Not everybody rushes home. So we just got to work through all of these, minor details. But as long as you're willing to use the discretion and continue to do that, we know that enforcement is what we're looking for, not so much fining and towing. So,
And I think how we would exercise that discretion, Council Marsan, is, let's say we had a heavy snowfall that started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is something, of course, we would coordinate the police and the Department of Public Works. We'd be talking to Director Bauer, and we might be putting out robust notifications at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon that the towing operation and the prohibit, I can't even say the word, against parking prohibition might start at like 10 p.m., for example. So the idea is we want to start enforcing this when people are largely asleep, they're parked appropriately, they're off our city streets, and now we might be doing the towing operation from 10 p.m. until 6 or 7 in the morning, for example. That's probably, for practical purposes, how this would work.
and I agree. I think that's we just have to come up with something to let people know that when it happens, they have some leeway. They don't have to rush to get their car off, and we need to inform them, right? We have a hard time doing that. We need to inform them better. The blue light is excellent, but we don't have that capacity right now.
Right.
And the same thing when it's over, right? Because we want people giving them a couple of hours to get out of the lots now. And if we extend that, that's a good thing too. So this is moving in the right direction. I'm thinking everybody sees that. It's just we need to tweak it a little more to make sure it accommodates all the citizens of our community. That's
One last thought, if you allow it, Council Marsan. I know that you're getting an updated cost analysis from the CAFO. And I think the CAFO has to presume the worst, that if we issued 280 tickets and they're $25, and if we were now to issue 280 tickets and they're $100, this would be the impact to city residents, and this would be the impact to the city treasury. I want to say that I view that through a different lens. My hope is that with the escalation of the fine, we won't have 280 violators. Maybe we'll have a half or a third as many as we had. And over time, the idea is to gain more and more compliance and less citations. So that's the goal moving forward, so that we can just do a better job and protect public safety. That's all.
And that's 100% true, because we're looking for compliance and not ticketing and towing people. So we just want them to follow the rules. That's all we're looking for. So.
Exactly. Yes.
You have one more comment, Councilor Petch?
Yeah, just quickly, I just wanted a caveat on my own point earlier, because in no way would I suggest even an overlay for those operating businesses should anybody park on the street if it's an unsafe condition. So the caveat is, no matter what we do or what we decide for those businesses, even if they are operational, we still need to maintain a safe, plowed, right, condition for whatever prospective patron is entering in those, because that opens up a whole other issue of liability, I think, if we're allowing them to park in front of an opened business without first assuring that it's a safe environment for them to park. So just a caveat.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
So I just want to make sure, is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this issue on the parking ban this evening? Thank you, Chief. Seeing we have none, I'll take a motion to close the public
I make a
hearing.
motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Council Soto, seconded by Council DeZoglio. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Meeting is adjourned at 6:40.
6:40. Good job.
311-210-99 for an SO pole on Berkeley Street in Methuen. I'll call roll. Councilor Drew. Present. Councilor McLaren.
Here.
Councilor Pett. Present. Councilor Santos.
Present.
Councilor Samad.
Here.
Councilor Soto.
Present.
Councilor Valley.
Present.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Present.
And myself. We're all present. Sir, are you here from the power company? If you'd like to come up and give us a quick synopsis of what you're asking for, please.
Good evening. My name is Brian Sassler. I'm here representing National Grid, located at 1101 Turnpike Street in North Andover. I'm here to speak about this petition for adding a pole. This will be a solo-owned pole. It'll be designated as pole 8651-50. It'll be between poles 24 and pole 8651 on Berkeley Street. This pole will be set in place to increase response times and reliability in the area.
So before you move on, response times and reliability, what's the response time? Could you just elaborate on that when you mean to say?
Sure, yeah. So this equipment functions as in a way to, if there's a fault in the line, it responds automatically so that it can clear the fault if it's clearable on its own. If not, then it will let us know that there is a fault in the area and that we should be there to resolve the issue.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions from the council? I just want to open it. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this poll, at this public hearing? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. No other comments from the council? No questions? Thank you, sir. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Drew, seconded by Councilor DeZoglio. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Meeting adjourned, 6:48.
Councilor McLaren.
Here.
Councilor Marsan.
Here.
I'm sorry, wrong one. Councilor Pesh. Present. Councilor Santos.
Present.
Councilor Samad.
Here.
Councilor Soto.
Present.
Councilor Valley.
Present.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Present.
Councilor Drew.
Here.
And Chair Marsan.
Here. All accounted.
All present.
Need a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor DeZoglio, seconded by Councilor Valley. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Please remain standing. So we have 5 members of our community that have passed in the last week. Very sad week. One of them, Mike Condon, one of our councilors, served us here, served us well. He was a great businessman in our community, known to everyone. Another one was Kathleen Corey Rami, was another councilor. She passed today. Some sad news too, so condolences to her. Santos Finicaro, he was a staple. He was an accountant. He's down on Merrimack Street. He's had many clients. Been in business for over 50 years. Touched many people's lives. The next one, Timmy Sheehy. So it's not our ex-police chief. Same name, no, Timmy Sheehy. He was a trucking contractor. He had a heart attack and died on Saturday. Just a well-known contractor here in the city. And the last one is Domingo Romano, is the teacher from Lawrence that passed this week. So a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First order of business this evening, we'll have organizational business. The first is to elect a council chair. I need a nomination for a council chair. Councilor Peck.
I'd like to nominate Councilor Soto.
Councilor Soto's been nominated. Any other nominations? So we'll do a roll call, please. For Councilor Soto as chair.
I would like to discuss, please.
Say it again?
Discussion, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I would just like to clarify why I will be abstaining from this vote. Councilor Soto did not reach out to me at any point, although it is my understanding that she was in communication with other members of the council, and I want to set the precedent that my vote should not be taken for granted. That said, I also want to be clear that I'm not abstaining so as to raise any questions about her character or her qualifications whatsoever. I simply want to ensure that whoever our chair is prioritizes unity within this body and communication fairly with all of its members. I have no doubt that she's capable of those things. I simply don't know her well enough to make an assertion one way or another. Therefore, I don't feel comfortable voting yes or no, so I will be abstaining. Thank you.
Any other discussion before we vote?
If I may, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ella, for that clarification. You are correct. When we spoke was the day of the training, and I was supposed to schedule a coffee with you. I did not get to that, unfortunately. So I want to publicly apologize that I did lobby my position with other members. But I do appreciate your courage in speaking up. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor McLaren.
Abstain.
Councilor Pesh. Councilor Santos.
Soto.
Councilor Samad.
No.
Councilor Soto.
Soto.
Councilor Valley.
Soto.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Soto.
Councilor Drew.
Councilor Soto.
And Chair Marsan.
Yes for Councilor Soto.
7 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention.
7 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Councilor Soto was the new chair.
Thank you. Okay. Settle in. Next item on the agenda, election of council vice chair. Open nominations for election of the council vice chair. Councilor Valley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to nominate for Vice Chair Councilor Pesh.
Okay, I have one nomination on the floor for Councilor Pesh. Any other nominations? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call for Councilor Pesh. Madam Clerk, thank you.
Counselor McLaren.
Abstain.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh. Counselor Santos.
Councilor Page.
Counselor Samad.
Councilor Pesh.
Counselor Valley.
Councilor Pesh.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Counselor Pesh.
Counselor Drew.
Counselor Pesh.
And Chair Soto.
Councilor Pesh, thank you. Congratulations, Councilor. Next item on the agenda, election, appointment of acting mayor. Nominations are open for election appointment of the acting mayor. Councilor Santos, I saw her first, my apologies.
Councilor Marson.
Okay. Second nomination?
Counselor Marsan.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Council. So I have the nomination of Councilor Marsan for mayor-elect. Is there any further nominations? No? We'll close those nominations and we'll take a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh. Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Councilor Marsan.
Counselor Valley.
Councilor Marsan.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Counselor Marsan.
Counselor Drew.
Counselor Marzan.
And Chair Soto.
Councilor Marsan. Congratulations, Councilor Marsan.
Thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Adoption of the City Council Rule and Procedures. I'll take a motion to accept the adoption of the City Council Rules and Procedures.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
The motion is made by Councilor Marsan, seconded by Councilor DeZoglio. I see your hand raised, Councilor Santos. Did you have something to say?
I would like to add a change. Page 2, Section A. All council meetings shall be conducted by 11 p.m. unless extended by the majority vote. Just adding, unless extended by the majority of votes of the council.
So that's Rule 1, Section A, adding after 11 p.m.
Yes.
I have a motion on the floor to amend Rule 1 to be able to extend our meetings by a majority vote of the council if we conduct meeting after 11. That motion's on the floor. If there's a second.
Second.
Second by Councilor Valley. I'll take a roll call.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
No.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
yes, 3 no. I'm sorry, 5 yes, 4 no.
Motion passes. Correct.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other amendments to Councilor Drew?
I just had a question, just looking at most previous council's rules versus these rules. It added in on page 3, number 8, the city council may enter into executive session for any of the 10 reasons identified under open meeting law, Mass General 30A, sections 21A through 21A10. Just want a clarification on why that was added.
If I may ask the solicitor for clarification.
I did not add that. Who would have added that in?
I believe that was done under Rossetti.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at that for you. I think he added that in to be in compliance with the current exemptions that are allowed for executive session. I think previously we had some in there that weren't the ones that conformed with state law.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify why it was added in. It was just in line that was not in the previous, and just wanted to know the reasoning.
Thank you. Councilor Pesh.
Thank you. I have 2 potential amendments. So the first one is going to be Rule 1, Section D, and it's under the notice for special meetings. Seeing as though they are special meetings, what I would like to do is strike after 3 or more members, strike by written notice delivered to the place of residence or business of each member, and insert that it may be emailed. However, such printed material shall be available to councilors as requested. So basically, if we have a special meeting, we can then have the packet or the information emailed. But if we want a printed material, we could pick it up on our own from the clerk's office. And this is only for special meetings. Was that your question? Yeah.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilor Ron Marsan. Any discussion on that amendment? Take a roll call, Madam.
No.
Did you have a?
I just want to clarify that according to your own rules, the last amendment failed because it requires 2/3 vote to change your rules. So it must be 6 votes to change the rules, just so
Thank
you
you.
know. So for this vote,
So
for
we're
it to pass, it
so
needs
we're
6 votes.
okay. Thank you for that clarification.
You can, of course, waive your rules or change them,
Per
but
meeting.
right now it's 6 votes to change the rules.
Thank you. Good. Take the roll. Thank you.
Councilor McLaren,
Yes.
Councilor Marsan,
Yes.
Councilor Pesh,
Yes.
Councilor Santos,
Yes.
Councilor Samad,
Yes.
Councilor Valley,
Yes.
Councilor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Councilor Drew,
Yes.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
And I have one more, Madam Chair, if I may. Yes. Under Rule 11, public participation. And this particular amendment is in the spirit of the confusion, the mass confusion that has been recently surrounding email submissions for public participation. In reading this, it's become aware there's really no protocol. So rather than it being discretionary and having that narrative out there that we're not applying equally the rules of having email submission, I drafted something that may make it clearer. So what I'd like to do, and I have one question to the solicitor first, because in reading this as well, it begins the citizens of the city of Methuen, and it continues to reference throughout that paragraph the citizens. Does this particular rule say that the only people who should be participating in public participation need to be citizens of the city of Methuen? Because I know that's not standard protocol, but
Which rule are you looking at?
Rule 11 under public participation. Thank you.
So, I mean, public participation is open. It doesn't have to be the citizens of the village.
Okay. Under this rule, though, I'm just saying, because the whole paragraph references the citizens
I understand.
of Methuen.
It's because
Okay, as long
it's-
as we understand
Yep.
that it's open to the public. Just wanted to make sure. So what I'd like to do is, about midway through that paragraph, I would start by striking, all citizens wishing to speak to the end of that paragraph, I would strike all of that and replace it with, and I'm happy to hand this over if it does get accepted. Citizens wishing to speak in person may sign up at the scheduled meeting by providing their name and full address on the sheet provided at said meeting. Speakers shall be heard in the order in which they are listed on the sign-up sheet. A citizen may also be recognized by the council chair or any member of the city council through the chair. Additionally, a citizen wishing to have a statement read into record at a city council meeting may do so by submitting their statement along with the request for the same and their full name and address to the council clerk's office by 4 p.m. on the day of the city council meeting for which they would like the statement read. Such statements shall be limited to 2 single-sided pages, double-spaced, and at least 12-point font for easy reading. Any statements that do not comply with these requirements may not be admissible at the meeting. Clerk shall make reasonable efforts to notify the sender of corrections needed. However, such corrections will not extend the submission deadline.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Council, you're including people that don't sign up, that maybe are listening to public participation, then wants to participate, we're going to allow them to speak, right?
So they have to be, no, because, so yes. You mean you mean for open after they've closed it and they say, is anybody else?
Exactly. They may not want
Yeah.
to speak right away, but because of the participation, they may want to add something.
So that's the last line, and I'm sorry I don't have this in front of you.
That's okay.
A citizen may also be recognized by the council or chair or any member of the city council through the chair. So that, and that was already in here. I took that from there. So basically, if they don't sign up on the sheet, we'll open it for anybody else, and they'll still have that right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is there a motion, I'm sorry, there's an amendment on the floor by Councilor Pesh. Is there a second to make that change? Second by Councilor Drew. Any further discussion? Councilor Marstan.
So just to clarify, the main portion of what she's trying to amend is someone can send in a letter that's going to be read into the minutes, not just people who are recognized after the sign-up sheet. That's the gist of what your amendment is, correct?
It is in one point of clarification. If this does pass, I would request that it be posted on the website with clear instructions so that people know exactly what criteria they need in order to have it read correctly into the record.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, if you may.
Yes.
Call the roll.
Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion passes. Great. Any other amendments to Councilor Valley?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And this is rule number 7, section E. I would like to amend the entire section, which read right now, all resolution must be read in full unless after the reading of the title, further reading is waived by unanimous consent of the city council members. So I would like to strike that and start with, after reading the title on all resolutions and ordinances, only a vote to require reading the full measure is adopted, further reading is waived. And that is because sometimes we have some lengthy resolutions, just like to take advantage of the time that we have to run a meeting smoothly. And
And I'm sorry, Counselor, could you tell me the page that's on again?
it is page number 8. Rule 7, section E. E as in Edward.
Okay. Perfect. Counselor Pesh.
Thank you. Thanks. So would there be a protocol as to what they would read in its place? Like, would it just be the number or just?
Just the title of the resolutions and the ordinances.
Just not all the other superfluous what they're reading?
So I can clarify that. Currently, the way we've been doing reading ordinances and resolution, and that's this council that was sitting prior, and the council prior to that, they weren't reading the entire resolution. Our rules and regs say you actually have to read the whole document. Am I understanding
Yes,
that?
yes, you're correct.
So we've been reading just the title.
But not complying with her own rules?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So
Thank
she's
you.
basically saying unless we take a vote to read the entire ordinance or resolution or order, we are expecting that you came prepared, I'm assuming, and therefore we only have to read TR,
And the title.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly, in the title. So I have an amendment on the floor for Rule 7, Section E,
I'll second.
seconded by Counselor Marsan. Any further discussion?
Yeah, just point of clarification. So are we doing that moving forward or on a case-by-case basis when we have a full workload for a meeting? So that would be my question.
I would say moving forward
So every,
in every meeting. That's why what we have been doing in the past 2 years, though, just reading the title.
So for clarification, we're just reading the title, not the entire ordinance.
Just the title. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You're welcome.
Any further questions? Counselor Drew.
My only concern with that, is really the people watching at home that may not have this packet, that may not have the ability to go through and see every single one of these. They may want to know what TR00 whatever is, so they have a full understanding of it, and I feel that might hinder the ability for people to fully understand what we're voting on.
Thank you. Counselor Doglio, and then I'll come back to you, Counselor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm the same with Councilor Drew. I feel like we should be as transparent as possible, and it's our job. I know it takes up time, but we are elected officials, and our time is to the people of Methuen. So if I have to read a whole resolution and ordinance, I'm happy to do so. But it's to keep transparency, and yeah, I can't support just reading a title.
I would just note that if you look at the website, every agenda has a link to each of the ordinances that are there. I have no opinion whether you want to read them into the record or not, but they are available as soon as the agenda is posted. There are links there for folks to download and read them.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Counsel, did you have a follow-up, Counselor DeZoglio?
Go back and forth, and understandable, Mr. Solicitor, but also I know plenty of 80-year-old senior citizens that don't know how to work a cell phone, let alone look at a computer. And for them to just go to the link, I just feel like just reading an ordinance, I don't think it's a big deal. But thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Counselor Marsan.
So I like the amendment. I think reading just what we have here on our agenda, that's the title of it. Most all the people who tune in that are here, they have a copy of the agenda. It is online, like the solicitor says, so they have the full article in front of them. So for us to just to reiterate it, it's not necessary, I don't believe. I don't think it's necessary for us to do that. Everyone has this article, has this agenda in front of them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? No? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, take the roll on the amendment.
Counselor McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
No.
Counselor Drew.
No.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
7 yes, 2 no.
Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I have another friendly amendment that I would like to make. That is page number 9, rule number 8, section D. Say all committees of the City Council shall consist of an odd number of 3 or more. I would like to strike or more, because the next odd number will be 5, so that will be a full quorum for the City Council, and the norm is 3, no 5. So strike or more.
Counselor Pesh?
Do we ever have situations where we have an alternate? So, no. Would this have been written for that sort of instance? I'm just thinking like if you, so two would be equally detrimental,
Two will be
right?
quorum for the committee, for the meeting.
But I'm saying you could be at a standstill with two, which is why we have an odd number. I guess you just wouldn't meet though, right? If you didn't have the full committee?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Thank
work
you.
that one.
Any further discussion on that item? I need a second, actually. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on that. Seeing none, take a roll. Madam Clerk,
Counselor
please. Thank you.
McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Madam Chair, I have two more, and that's it.
The floor is yours. Thank you.
So, page number 9, Rule 9, appointments by council. Section 8, the city council shall appoint a city solicitor, fiscal analyst. I would like to strike that because that position does not exist anymore. So that will be the amendment in that one. Rule number 9, page 9, section 8. Strike
seconded.
fiscal analyst.
Seconded by Counselor Pesh. Discussion on striking the fiscal analyst as that position does not exist in the city. Seeing none, take a roll, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
No.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
No.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
7 yes, 2 no.
I have the last one, which is the same page, page 9, rule number 9, section B. In case of the absence of the clerk of the council, I would like to add there, or the assistant city council, a clerk pro temp shall be elected.
Have a motion to amend by adding Assistant City Council as that position newly exists.
Second.
Thank you, Counselor. So we have a second by Counselor Pesh. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes. Motion carries.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Any further amendments to policies and procedures for council? All right.
I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
I
Right, you have
actually-
one?
Counselor, thank you so much. I actually do have something to amend, if that's okay with you. Pass the gavel over to the vice. There were two, Counselor Pesh's amendment and clarification from the solicitor, where we got clarified, where it states citizens of Methuen. Now that we're clear that all public participation is open to all, I'd like to add page 11. Okay, that is section 11. Rule 11, section C. Third line down where it says shall state his, her name and address. I would like to add the word full. That way we can distinguish if they are a citizen of the city of Methuen or if they are not.
Motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Valley. Any discussion?
I have a question. Does it really make any sense if it is Methuen resident or not?
But you, if I may, Madam, the only distinction is since we have public participation, if you're going to say 123 Main Street, I'd like to know if it's Main Street in Methuen, Main Street in Andover, Main Street, and you could be a business owner, correct?
Okay.
So that way you have context
Thank
of
you.
where, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Councilor Drew?
So you're just asking for them to identify their city, not state, zip code, all that when you say full? Just
So full address.
full address. I mean, my full address is 6 Spring Valley Road, Methuen, Massachusetts, 01844. You know, that is the expectation of the participant when they come, or is it just a Methuen, Massachusetts?
Full address.
Full address.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Counselor McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
No.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
No.
Counselor Drew.
No.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
6 yes, 3 no.
6 yes. Take the gavel back, if it's okay.
I just want to clarify too, so you understand, these won't take effect tonight. You need to vote on them a second time at the next meeting. So
Correct. And we'll have a revised policies, procedures. Thank you so much. All right. Any further amendments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Marsan, seconded by Counselor Pesh. Any further discussion on the amendments? And thank you, Solicitor, for the clarification. Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLennan.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. So before we finalize our organizational businesses, I wanted to thank you all for entrusting me as your new chair for this term of 2026. I am truly honored to serve you guys, and I want to welcome back those counselors that served alongside me, and welcome back and extend a warm welcome to the newly elected council that's with us this evening. So thank you so much. I look forward to a new year for us to serve our citizens in unison alongside with the mayor and our CAFO. But tonight I wanted to provide you with some context on some housekeeping, because I sat where you are today as a new counselor with no context, no guidance, and just trying to figure it out as I go, and very nervous in that chair. I think I sweated that day, okay? A lot. I was sweating. So anyhow, with that, I want you to feel comfortable in your seats tonight, and I want to give you some context. So if counselors or the mayor wish to email me, please be sure to include, and this is so that we can make sure that what you're requesting of me as the chair and the vice is also added to that email. Our two assistant, our clerk and our assistant clerk is also on there. Because as you work on this body, you'll have requests that you may have from the mayor or from me. And so we make sure that we document what you need and we get it on the agenda. Okay? So if that could be the chain of email, I would truly, truly appreciate it, and we can get back to you in a timely response, in a timely manner. Second, when placing the item on the agenda, I would ask you to please, please, please involve the CAFO and involve the city solicitor. Some of your items are going to include asking questions if there's funding available, and I think she's a great resource, and I think this last council didn't take enough advantage of what she can offer to the group. So if you could please include her on your research, and when you're looking to do an ordinance or a resolution, great asset. Same thing with our city solicitor. Once the city solicitor speaks to you in regards to the item that you're putting on the table, whether an order, resolution, or an ordinance, and it's approved by his legal department, that's when it'll hit the agenda. So please make sure that the solicitor has done that review. Once that's done, please send it to me. Again, include the vice chair and also add both of our clerks. And the other item is the title you can add, but it won't get onto the agenda until you have the additional material that's needed for that agenda item. If I ask the mayor to do that by a certain hour, and that's something that the council and my previous chairman was very adamant about, things had to be on time by a certain hour. If I'm going to hold the mayor to that, I need to hold the body to that. So I want to make sure that we're equal. So if you guys are happy with that, so am I. Okay? Finally, next, council committees. I know that some of you attended the training. If you could let me know the committees that you're interested in serving on prior to the next meeting, I would greatly appreciate it. It'll make my life easier. So I want to accommodate you and support you. I will be appointing you to those committees for the next meeting. So you could email me, you can text me. I'm readily available. And we'll get that done for you for the next meeting. At the mayor's request, and with his my full support, he requests that counselors email department heads, but also CC him in conversation. He's requested that we CC his chief of staff. They're very good at getting back to you, okay? But that as a courtesy, he'd like to know what's happening in his building, and we should extend that courtesy to him. So please include him on those emails. That way, everyone's informed, and we know what's happening. Same thing. I want to also point something out. When you're emailing your CAFO on certain monetary items or your solicitor, those emails, the mayor could be excluded from those emails as they are independent people. So you may be researching something. They could be independent. You don't have to add the mayor to those emails. Okay? Public participation. As council members and members of the community know, residents are welcome to speak at every meeting that we have. And that's including special meetings, public hearings, and I'm going to be honest, I would like to refrain from the public personally attacking this body or you attacking the constituency or anybody that comes for public participation. I think that decorum is very important for us to do business. And so with that being said, the public is expected to refrain from outbursts and shouting and disruptive behavior while you're speaking as a counselor, just like you're giving them the courtesy when they come into this room and you're listening. Because you'll sit here for hours at a time and listen to someone complain, someone speak out about how they adamantly feel about things that are happening in the city. And of course, we should listen to them. And just like you're giving them that decorum, I expect them to give you the same decorum. So I will hold that accountable on this floor. So I hope that you can partake with me on that, please. But I also want to point out that I believe there should be something that we read at every meeting. And I'm going to assign it. I'm sorry, Vice Chair. I'm going to assign that a Vice Chair read a decorum statement at every meeting from now on. Why? Because if you're told what I expect of you, then at that point you know how to act, correct? And so that's what we'll do. And I'm going to read it now, but as of next meeting, and I'll email that to you, okay? During public participations, residents shall address the chair with their concerns and may speak on any issue or concern to them. If a speaker or member of the audience becomes disruptive through yelling, screaming, or unruly behavior, I will direct the sergeant at arms, who will be the police chief or their designee, to intervene. It will then be in the responsibility of the sergeant at arms to restore order and ensure decorum is maintained. Okay? Same thing with us. I expect you as a counselor to maintain decorum. So with that being said, again, thank you. Welcome. Let the business begin. All right, next item on our agenda. We have public participation. Could I have, do I have it? All right. So you're going to keep me in check. Thank you, ma'am. There you go. Yeah, and I'll
Linda Susie?
Linda Susie, 10 Kirk Street, Methuen. I'm just here to talk about the snow emergency. I'm in favor. Can anybody ever fix these things? I'm in favor of the snow emergency parking ban, option number 2. After speaking with other residents and the chief, there seems to be a general agreement that option 1 should not be implemented. There isn't enough time to properly educate residents about the new policy, and it could be confusing. Option 2 maintains the current winter parking ban, but increases enforcement measures. Fines would increase from $25 to $100 for the first violation and $200 for subsequent violations. Vehicles will also be subject to towing, and the ban would be enforced during every declared snow emergency. I believe the increase to $100 would be more of a deterrent to people leaving their vehicles on the street. I also support, I don't know, I wasn't here for the public hearing, so I don't know if you discussed at all the enhanced notification systems that could be used, specifically the use of a flashing blue light during snow emergencies to alert residents to move their vehicles. Other communities have adopted this system, and it appears to be working. I also like that option 2 includes accommodations in municipal lots for those who may not have access to off-street parking, particularly when landlords do not permit tenants to use driveways, if they even have a driveway. For example, Broadway has several mixed-use buildings, and there is no parking for the people who live above the businesses. I think it makes sense to continue with the current ban while increasing the fines and enforcement measures. If after this winter these changes prove ineffective, then a reassessment can be made in March or April to consider moving forward with option 1. I can speak personally here that this is a public safety issue. I experienced an ambulance not being able to get down our street after a snowstorm several years ago because people left their cars on the street. The EMTs had to leave their ambulances down the street as they could not get the ambulance down. So they had to carry the stretcher down the street and their equipment. This would not have been necessary if cars were removed during the snow emergency. And we all know sometimes just moments can make the decision between life and death. So I am in favor of option 2 personally, and from the Methuen-Arlington neighborhood, we've spoke at it at several meetings, and they are in favor of it. I agree that we need decorum, and I think we all need everybody to get along. And I think that it's very important that we change the appearance of Methuen right now because it's not good. Thank you.
Mike Welsh?
Hello, my name is Mike Welch, and I live at 8 Nelson Avenue in Methuen. I welcome the new council and also congratulate the new council members. This is my 3rd city council since I started working on the roadways in Methuen. And in the spring of 2023, when I was informed that Nelson Avenue was an unaccepted road, I said, "What are you talking about? What's an unaccepted road?" So I started digging in, and began with the city's comprehensive accepted street listing, not accepted street list, private way list, dated July 10th, 2023, comprehensive, and labeled draft, not for reference purposes only. So I took that list and I compiled it. That list contained 940 accepted streets It contained 363 unaccepted streets, 27 private streets, for a total of 1,334 streets listed. In the beginning, City Council Safi mentioned to me that her street was unaccepted, but that the state had accepted her street. Got me very curious. Okay, so I pulled the Mass DOT roadway records for Methuen. I compared that to this spreadsheet and found numerous discrepancies. So I carried on and I went to our assessor's office, the Patriot property. I pulled all the properties that we're collecting taxes on, compared that, again, found numerous discrepancies, and I just kept working down Merrimack Valley Planning Commissions, the MyMap that's on our webpage. I used that and compared, and again, keep finding discrepancies between all of these places. I also compared the city recycle list and the plow routes, and again, finding discrepancies in all of these. So, let's see, let me get back to my notes here. I've compared the city recycling. Since November 2024, I've been working with Mass DOT and addressing a lot of the discrepancies between the state and the city's listing. To date, I'm very comfortable saying that a total of 923 accepted, unaccepted, and private roads in Methuen, not counting state roads and paper streets. So there's 53 state roads, which include 12 are both city and state accepted, such as Broadway. It's both the city portion of it and a state portion. And another 73 paper streets in the city. And if you don't know what a paper street is, it's paper. There's no road there, okay? And of those 73, 40 of them do not have any taxpayer properties. So why we even have those listed? And these streets are all in the original listing. There's still more work to be done with Mass DOT. We have things that are submitted that are still waiting to be passed. I missed the deadline on November 30th, so I think there's like 7 left to be done. There's another submission waiting to be sent in for the Town Forest Road. And there are 49 streets that are accepted by the state, but not accepted by the city, and we're working on that now with Pat Bowers. And the 17 roads that are partially accepted by the city, not the city, the state, partially accepted and partially unaccepted. Those need to be addressed. So if any city council would like to meet with me and go over these, and the devils are in the details. So I'm more than happy to do that with anyone. And my name, you know my name now, but my number is 978-618-2279. And my email is mikewelch2@icloud.com. And I welcome to share this stuff with anybody that's interested. So, thank you.
Is there anyone else who didn't sign up that would like to speak?
Seeing none, we'll close public participation. Next item on the agenda, reading and acceptance of the minutes from our previous meeting, December 8th, 2025, tax classification, public hearing, December 8th, 2025, special meeting, and December 15th, 2025, regular meeting. Should I take individual votes, Solicitor? Yes, thank you for that. So we'll take the first vote on December 8th, 2025, tax classification public hearing. The motion to approve. Motion by Councillor Marsan, seconded by Councillor Samard. Any discussion? Councillor DeZoglia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to vote present on it because I was not a counselor, so I'm not going to approve or say no about these minutes.
Thank you for that. Any other discussion?
I will be doing the same as Councilor Bizarro.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further?
Me as well.
Thank you. Okay.
Me as well.
If I may, we're going to have one of you vote because if not, they won't pass. Okay, thank you, Counselor. I appreciate that. Madam Chair, if you could take the roll.
Okay. Counselor McLennan.
Present.
Present. Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Present.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Present.
Counselor Drew.
Present.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
5 yeas, 4 present.
Thank you. Motion carries. December 8th, 2025, special meeting. Motion by Counselor Marsan, seconded by Counselor Samard. Any discussion? Seeing none? Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLennan.
Present.
Counselor Marsan. Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Present.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Present.
Counselor Drew.
Present.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
5-4.
Motion carries. December 15, 2025, regular meeting. Motion to approve. Counselor, thank you, Counselor Marsan, seconded by Counselor Samard. Discussion? Take a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLennan.
Present.
Counselor Marsan. Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Present.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Present.
Counselor Drew.
Present.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
5-4.
Motion carries. Proclamations and correspondence, seeing none. Consideration of appointments, there's none on the agenda today. There's a presentation on the agenda today. Superintendent John N. Lavoie referencing Greater Lawrence Technical School to sell its existing hangar at the Lawrence Municipal Airport and to purchase the adjacent hangar. This is also on your agenda for a vote later on. We have the floor.
Thank you, Counselor, President, and the Council. Congratulations on your election, and thank you for letting me speak today. I want to start by saying I do not need a vote today, as there are some last-minute changes I received from our attorney today at 4 o'clock. So that's got to go back to our school committee, but it's important to present this to you today so that you could possibly vote on it at your next meeting. And the reason for that is the hangar we're purchasing, the hangar that the owner is selling is in a rush to sell. He gave us till Friday, but now I spoke to him today and said he would give us a little more time, given some of the complications we're finding. I won't need a vote. We can give you a chance to review it, ask questions, and I do have, because one of the things is not only do I need a motion approval for purchasing the hangar, but also there's going to be a need to change the regional charter agreement, because we're going to be leasing land, and in the charter we need that's a change in our charter, so we need approval for that as well. So it's the same language and procedures we use for the first hangar. So that's I will give you. I do have a new document with some different language on the charter itself that you can look at, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer that.
So if I may ask, did you bring that information for us this evening? Will it be emailed, and you are still doing your presentation?
I have it with me. I have some the language for the sublease that would need to happen possibly at your next meeting.
Perfect. Thank you.
The in terms of the purchasing of the hangar, there would be no cost to the city. We would be using different funds that we have from the school. The First thing would be selling the original hangar that we have and using those funds to put towards the purchase of the new hangar. In talking to a gentleman who brokers hangars out at Lawrence Airport, he anticipates that value could be $350,000. We did to upgrade our existing hangar. We had allocated $400,000 because we have to put, in order to get it approved by the state for a school space, we have to put a bathroom in there, air conditioning and heat, better lighting, and all the changes and upgrades would cost us about $400,000, which has already been allocated through one of our budgets. So taking that money and putting it towards the new hangar, that's another $400,000. So we'd have approximately $750,000 between those two items to purchase the new hangar, which is selling for $975,000. And the remainder of the money, we're looking to use a little bit of E&D excess and deficiency account, and possibly some of our rental money that we take in. So very minimal amount of money would come out of our E&D account in order to purchase that hangar. But in the end, it would be at no cost to our communities. But we still still looking for your approval to purchase it. And that would be one vote that we would need. And then the other vote would be to, of course, make that change in our regional agreement. The language you have before you in the regional agreement is the same exact language that we utilize. The difference is the cost, monthly cost for the lease is about just under $200 more for this lease than the other one because of the fact that it's a larger space and there's more land with it. And the advantage to this hangar is not only that it has a bathroom, it has air conditioning and heat, a top system in it. It also has the fact that it has larger space. We can put all three of our aircraft in it, and gives us more space for our classrooms and more space for, it has a small loft now. So we would expand that a little bit for our classroom space. And then having the bathrooms, we would add one more bathroom to it, is a huge factor in itself. The biggest cost to upgrading our existing hangar is putting in a new bathroom. We'd have to put a new store line, which is about a 300 foot length to go from the hangar all the way up to Sutton Road in Sutton Street in North Andover, which is a huge cost, and plus a lot of approvals that we'd be going through. So we bought this hangar. Originally, we bought this hangar because it was the only hangar that we could purchase, and we had to have a hangar to get the program approved. And then we anticipated in improving it, but with this option, it now is a much better option for us, and it's part of the same West Side Hangar Association. So that West Side Hangar Association has 3 hangars. Ours, the one that was attached to ours, and this one, which is an individual hangar, it's also part of that association. So we'll still be part of the same in the same location. It's actually right next door to the one we have right now. So, so the votes we would need, anticipate, I had submitted some possible motions that the council could consider in terms of that vote, and I also have the vote, vote that I think one of the members or what the clerk of the city of of Methuen might have put together that would suffice as well in terms of purchasing. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Any questions from the body?
Yes, Madam
Councilor
Chair.
Valley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. You said that you hired a broker to sell the original hangar. Do you have like a market analysis or an appraisal that you can provide this body with a copy next time?
We haven't gotten a final appraisal, but we've spoken to a gentleman at Falcon Air who sells hangars out at the airport, and he valued it at $300,000 to $350,000. He has just sold 2 or 3 of his own hangars out there that are similar in size, and So he believes that's the market price for it. He says the market price for the hangar that we're purchasing is he's valued it at 1.2 million, and we're paying 975,000 for it. We will get an official appraisal for it, but at this time, because of the speed of trying to get this done, we haven't, and the holidays and everything, we haven't been able to get someone out there.
Do you have a potential buyer?
Excuse me?
Do you have a potential buyer? Do you have a buyer?
Oh. We don't have a buyer at this time, although we know that hangars, and talking to this gentleman, he was saying that hangars are in high demand in terms of you just can't find a hangar at any airport. So people are desperate to find them. The hangar that we're purchasing has 2 other buyers that are even willing to pay what we're paying, but the seller wants to sell it to us because we're a school and he wants to help the school. That's one of the main reasons. But he doesn't want to lose a sale. That's why he's given us a limited amount of time to get this done. But he's willing to extend his time a little bit in order to make this happen. We still have to meet with the city of Lawrence this week. We're meeting to talk about them purchasing. We feel good about that. They have to purchase the hangar for us again, or any one of our municipalities, because based on our charter again from the law of 1960, in which the school was built under, we can only purchase from a municipality. And so that's why they would have to purchase it first, and then we would purchase it back from them, which they did on the last hangar. But it'd be a very short timeline. Well, they would be holding on to it for a few months before we could get all the paperwork done and all the votes done.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Counselor?
I just want a point of information. Reading the package, I was a little confused, but I just want to say thank you because you added the charter of the school to the package. So it was so much information for me, just knowing how the school is working. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you for the work that you are doing with your youth.
Any further? Drew, sorry. Counselor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to the superintendent. Superintendent, I'm very supportive of Greater Lawrence Tech as a graduate of Greater Lawrence Tech in 2006. So anything that we're going to do to expand programs there, I'm happy to see that we're doing that. I don't want to nitpick this too much, but I was reading the amendment, and I'm confused if this is an amendment to it and what we're actually amending. It's not really outlined where in your agreement that we're amending anything. Also, the resolved portion of this amendment doesn't read well and doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't know if the solicitor could help me understand that, or maybe you could. Also, there's going to be operational impacts to getting a bigger facility, yes?
Yes.
So will there be a larger impact to the city of Methuen when we come to the amount of money that we give to Greater Lawrence Tech, what our portion will be to the school to help with these operating costs?
So the operational costs will come out of our operational budget, which is the part of our Chapter 70 funds. So in terms of the leasing, the heat, the air conditioning that will take place. We also pay for plowing. So we're part of that 3 hangar consortium, and we all chip in a certain amount of money for the plowing and for the lease. We all chip in based on our square footage, what our percentage is going to be to pay for the lease. That's all going to come out of our operational. So there'll be no impact in terms of changes from what we would assess Methuen, because that assessment comes from the state. And we don't set that assessment, so there'll be no changes because of this change in need. And it's very minimal. This new hangar is very minimal in change and cost-wise to us because of it's going to be a little bit percentage, about 20% more than we paid in the past. And the figures, I think I gave you the figures on one of the amendments on what the monthly cost is and what the yearly cost is for the lease. That's the biggest cost, is what we pay for the lease yearly, and it's under $10,000, I believe it was, somewhere in the 85, $7,291 a year is what we'll pay towards the lease, and then a little bit towards the plowing and the taxes. We also pay that portion as well to the I believe it's the town of North Andover, because it's located in North Andover. And then, so the minimal costs to actually operate it.
Does that answer your questions, Counselor?
Other than just the line item on the actual amendment and for what we're actually amending, is there an amendment? It's not called out what line we're putting this to, where is this just going at the end of the agreement?
Yeah, I can forward that to you. It's the amendment is actually that document that I just sent around.
Yeah.
That is the change in the regional agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that language there, the real change is only in the square footage and the cost. It's a different. The reason it has to be changed is it's a different location and a different in terms of the plot plan within the airport. It's different than the one we have. So that means we have to change the language that's in our existing agreement to reflect this exact hangar.
Okay, you're going to resubmit, is that what you were saying?
Yes.
When you submit, could you just put the line in where in the actual agreement, which one we're going to be amending and where this is actually going to end up? So that way it's clear for everybody to be able to see
I'll
that.
forward you the existing agreement we have now, and then you'll be able to see the change based on.
Yeah, if you just highlight where it's going to go, that would be great.
And I'll highlight that for you to make
Thank
sure
you.
it's clear.
And Solicitor, on the resolved end of that, it reads funny to me, like it's almost
I
like the
haven't
city
seen
is
this
buying it, but we're not buying it, the district is, correct?
I haven't seen it before, so when he sends it, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, just
Try to
have them
explain.
Look at it and.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Mr. Lavoy, when you send that over, please send it over to the council clerk, and she'll circulate to the entire council so that we all receive the information.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before you go, though, I'd like to give the floor to the CAFO for a second in case she wants to make any clarifications.
Thank you. I was really just, I think there's going to be 3 votes. So I think this is going to completely change what was presented in this agenda. So my suggestion would be to table, I don't know if you want to table that one, and then we'll have to add 2 additional. So I think in total there'll be 3, and we can work with you and legal to get that written correctly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that addition. Any further questions or discussions from the floor? I have one. Thank you, Madam Vice. So I did call the airport, and I spoke to Mr. Ureña, which runs the operation over at
Mr. Hayden?
Francisco Ureña, which runs the airport.
At the airport. Yes.
He did explain to me, for context, because we didn't have that provided, he did tell me that your new hangar would be about 5,000 square feet.
Yes.
He did also say that if you couldn't sell your hangar, but it seems like you could right away, that it could be leased for a short period of time.
Yes.
I know you haven't gone in front of them, but they did say they were in favor. So I wanted to find out if they were in favor of this transition where it's an educational program to go to that one hangar. But in essence, you're on their agenda. I looked it up. You're on their agenda. Do you need, before you go to them, do you need the agreements of all communities, or no, you can go to them and then get the, just for clarification?
We can go to the airport commission for a vote to purchase. They have to approve the purchase.
Correct.
And that we can still go to our cities and towns to, we can't finalize and sign on the dotted line until they say yes to it. But I've spoken to a few of them on the commission already, and they've been very, very supportive of everything we've tried to do. I don't suspect that we're going to have an issue. I mean, until you do, you don't know. But yeah, as long as that's another reason why it's good for us to wait till your next council meeting, because I'm going to their next meeting, which is, I think, the second week of January.
The 15th of January.
For that vote. So I should have the vote by then. By the time I bring it back to you, I should have that vote.
Okay. The other question I had for you, and this is probably in preparation for that meeting, the objective, if I heard correct earlier, is to sell the hangar that you did buy, and that was 400,000 when we bought it.
300,000 when we bought it.
Well, 300. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have you made an additional, I don't know, 50,000, right? Okay, and you did say no cost to the communities.
Exactly.
At purchase.
There won't be a penny of cost to the community.
Okay, and then do we get to charge you a fee for fronting the money?
Excuse me?
Does Methuen get to charge you a fee for giving you the money?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I tried.
Yeah.
All right. So, $975 is what you're paying for the hangar. That's 1.2 in
Right.
essence. Okay.
Yes.
And it's an upgrade, 5,000 square feet. The other one's 3,000. And you don't have to do the upgrades because this one, Ureña told me, is all ready to go.
It's all ready to
And
go.
it's all okay.
Yeah. It's I don't know if you saw our hangar at the school, the new brick
I
and mortar
toured it.
hangar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
This
toured it.
hangar that we're buying is not as beautiful or as designed as well, but it's very close.
Great.
We spent $5 million building that one. This one's $975. It's not brick and mortar, but the inside is really nice.
Great.
Yeah, and so set up so perfectly for what we need it for that we don't have to invest any money or time into it once we own it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back. Thanks. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to congratulate Chair Soto on her historic election as the first Hispanic chair of the Methuen City Council. Notably, the first person of Dominican descent to wield the gavel and lead Methuen's legislative branch of government. This is a major milestone in the history of our city, and I recognize the special significance it holds for Methuen's Hispanic residents and the pride that must be theirs tonight. Congratulations. Felicidades.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor, for those kind words. Thank you.
Hopping right into my updates regarding the schools. In Methuen, I've arranged for the CBIZ auditors to set aside time for a follow-up meeting with the City Council and School Committee on Wednesday, January 21st at 6 p.m. That meeting will be taking place here in the Great Hall, and the auditors will be joining us again, as they did last time, to continue the discussion and provide more time for Q&A now that we have a newly seated council and school committee. Today, I authorized the reposting of the RFP for the financial audit of the school district, which I plan to fund using free cash once free cash is certified by the Commonwealth in the next couple of weeks. Our next meeting of the Finance Subcommittee is happening this week as we continue our push to get an early start on the budget planning process for fiscal year 27. The next meeting of our School Health and Safety Task Force is scheduled for next Thursday. And on tonight's agenda, we have a contract in front of you to continue the next phase of the carpet replacement project at the Timony. As I've noted before, the Timony is the school that has had the most extensive needs in terms of carpet replacements. This will go a long way toward helping us wrap up the work there and then begin moving on to address the same issues in the other buildings. I want to give a shout out to the school custodians who have been working their tails off to improve the cleanliness of each building, adding new door sweeps, and DPW's push to improve vegetation management coupled with the exclusion work head custodians have been doing have all resulted in significant improvements on the school facilities front and help us keep a lid on the rodent issue. Inspector D continues to conduct his walkthroughs, and I'll do a better job of sharing school-related updates during my mayor's report going forward. Regarding the trash and recycling RFP, the draft RFP was put together by Director Bauer and the procurement team. The solicitor, the CAFO, and I received it today, so the next step is to complete a legal review of the draft before it's posted. Once the draft has been vetted and the final version of the RFP is ready to post, I'll circulate a copy with the council to keep everyone on the same page. Geez, that was for emphasis. Regarding the online unaccepted ways map, the content for the website is developed. It's GIS-based, and we expect it to be ready to publish in the coming days, so I'm going to have a chance to take a look at that before it goes out, but the publishing of that is imminent. Regarding some coming attractions for the next meeting, I'm going to be asking you to approve the formal creation of the new Economic Development Coordinator and Sanitation Coordinator positions that were included in the fiscal year 26 budget. Now that the hiring freeze is behind us, these roles will equip us to double down on our economic development efforts with the goal of expanding our commercial tax base, providing new in-house support services for businesses, and creating a one-stop shop for the small business community to help make it easier for folks to start and maintain a business in our city. And in terms of the sanitation coordinator role, the push there will be to improve our trash and recycling program in partnership with the next vendor, and also implement waste reduction measures to help reduce our tonnage costs, which are frankly a budget buster to say the least. So those will be moving at the next meeting with your consent. Also note that we're in the process of producing the city and school payroll reports for the 2025 calendar year. Our goal will be to finish that project and have all the information posted on the website by the end of February at the absolute latest. This is unrelated, but I'm also aiming to bring formal plans to rezone 180 Pleasant Valley Street and 36 Boylston Street. Those are the former Pleasant Valley and Courier School buildings, to pave the way for the development of new housing for low-income Methuen seniors and veterans to use soon. That's something that I'm coordinating with legal. Regarding some upcoming events, Methuen Restaurant Week is happening during the week of January 25th with the help of the new Methuen Business Alliance and folks like Chair Soto, Representative Hamilton, and others. Now that the holidays are over, if you're trying to figure out what to do with your Christmas tree, St. Monica School and Scout Troop 60 are providing tree pickup services for Methuen residents. You can find all the information about that on Methuen Life Magazine's Facebook page. Also, keep in mind that you can dispose of your tree for no charge by dropping it off at the Nicholson Stadium parking lot or the transfer station. The Methuen Recreation Department is hosting indoor tennis sessions and basketball clinics in the coming weeks. You can learn more and sign up at MethuenRec.com. That does it for my first Mayor's Report of the new year. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any questions for the mayor? Councilor Drew, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the CBIZ audit on January 21st. The auditors, will they be here in person?
So they're going to join us remotely as they did last time, simply because I'm not inclined to cover the cost of their hotel stay, their flight perhaps, any other travel costs when we do have the ability to engage with them remotely. So my plan is to stick with that due to the cost of having them here in person.
So to follow that up, my concern is I wasn't on this council when they did this original one, and it honestly kind of seemed like they were being talked at, and it really didn't seem like they were just reading through a slideshow. What is that cost that you don't want to incur to the city for having them fly out and stay for a day or two?
So I'd have to take a look at what the specifics would be relative to whether it's lodging, transportation costs. However, something that might be helpful is perhaps, and this is something I didn't do last time, and I probably should have, rather than having the presentation done in the manner which that I thought it was best, I think it might be helpful perhaps if the council, members of the school committee have any thoughts specifically about how they would like the presentation to occur this time, any specific questions they'd like to have addressed. We can provide that to the auditors and they can be prepared to answer them the night of, so that we're not wasting anyone's time, but perhaps there's a better way to handle it than last time.
All right, then I had one other item. The trash RFP draft, when do you expect to have that in front of the council? We're talking the end of March, end of February. Can you give us like a solid date? I know you're...
Sure. So at this point, the next step would be legal review. So the solicitor is going to take a look at the draft. And for the most part, it's something that DPW and procurement have been working on for the past several weeks. So I think it's at a good place right now. So I would anticipate trying to get that in front of you. My hope is, I referenced the end of February earlier regarding another item, have to get to you by that time, certainly because of the challenges surrounded with the concept of standing up potentially a completely new trash program, potentially with a new vendor. That takes time. So that's certainly something that we would want to tackle and have approved well in advance of the July 1st start date.
All right, so we can anticipate before the end of February, we should see something in front of us?
That's my goal.
Any further questions to the mayor on his mayor's report? No. Did you have something? I have a question, if I may. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned rezoning the Pleasant Valley and Courier School. I know they were surplus by the school committee. Those come to us for us to declare it surplus. Are you rezoning post that or prior?
So this is the discussion that I'm having with legal regarding the exact process that that entails. There were certain stipulations that were attached to the surplus declaration by the school committee. I think there's some legal questions about how many of them are able to actually stand. But nevertheless, my goal ultimately is to get it to a point where we're at that place where the council is considering the rezone. So how the sausage is made, so to speak, and the specifics of that process, that's something that we're working on identifying internally so that we can get it to you in an expeditious manner, but also an appropriate manner.
Perfect. Thank you. That's okay. Great. If there are no further questions, I can move on to the CAFO's report, if that's okay. Madam CAFO?
I don't have anything because I wasn't on the agenda, so I don't have anything prepared.
So that was a clerical error that you were not on there. I asked earlier. So if you don't have anything to add, or we can obviously ask as we go. Mm-hmm. But if there's something or a statement or anything you'd like to add, you may.
So really, I just want to say welcome to the new counselors. I am Maggie Dupree. I'm the Chief Administrative Financial Officer. Happy to answer any questions at any time for any of the counselors. If you're going through any of the information that's provided to you, or if you're trying to put together something to come in front of council, I'm happy to work with you and give you whatever information I can. I have an open door policy, so please feel free to contact me with whatever you need.
Great. Thank you, Madam Capo. Next item, public service. Grants, PS grant number 311210099, SO pole on Berkeley Street, Methuen, Mass. Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Samard. Second by Councilor Valley. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilor McLaren.
Yes.
Councilor Masson. Councilor Pesh.
Yes.
Councilor Santos.
Yes.
Councilor Samad.
Yes.
Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Councilor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carries. Next item, licenses, vehicle for hire, company license application. This is a renewal. M&M & I Transportation LLC, 34 Sugar Pine Lane, Methuen, Mass. 01844. I need a motion to approve. Motion by Councilor Pesh, seconded by Councilor Samard. Any discussion on this item? I saw Counselor DeZoglio, your hand first. Please, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have one question about the registration. From my understanding, it was expired. Do we have an updated registration of the vehicle? Because it's very concerning to me that I don't have an updated registration, and so unless I get one, I don't think I can vote on this right now until I know that they're. Oh,
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
So this is something that I think it would make sense, and I know we don't have the clerk here with us tonight, but one thing that I would recommend is the prospect of tabling this, because that did come up as a question, and the question obviously might be, did the individual provide outdated supporting documentation, et cetera? So a table would give us opportunity to clarify that. I know that's a question that would satisfy a lot of folks if we're able to have that answered definitively beforehand.
so do you,
Yes.
Madam Chair, to the mayor?
Yes.
Quick question: is he still operating these vehicles, this vehicle right now, and working?
So I'm not directly familiar with the specifics of his current business operations, whether, that's something that is, say, running today as we sit here, but nevertheless, that's something that we can confirm with the applicant, and we can work with the clerk on doing that first thing tomorrow, Counselor.
Thank you.
Counselor Marsan made a
Second.
motion. There's a second. Take a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan. Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
I'm going to say no because Councilor Drew had a question, so I would want him to ask his question. So I'm going to say no.
Thank you. Counselor Drew
No.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
7 yes, 2 no.
Motion is tabled. Item is tabled. Next item, C26-63, J.J. Phelan and Sons Co., Inc., 120 Lumber Lane, Tewksbury, Mass., 01876, for softball dugout and installation at the Francis Morse Park, that's on Burnham Road, in the amount of $84,000. May I have a motion to approve? Motion from Counselor Drew, seconded from Counselor Pesh. Discussion. Counselor Drew, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On this here, on the front page, item number 2, I notice it says they have the lights we requested under the above company is the lowest qualified bidder. But when I look at the scope of work that is outlined in this contract, there's no reference to lights. So I guess my concern here is, are we getting lights? No lights? What's our requirement here? If we could have that clarified. I also don't want to have this open up to any sort of change orders. The other item is Section 3 of this agreement has liquidated damages, which require substantial completion by April 3rd, with final punch list done by April 17th. I want to make sure the contractor is prepared to be able to hit substantial completion and not incur these costs of liquidated damages. I just want to make sure this is a realistic timeline.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So to answer Councilor Drew's question about the scope of work, this doesn't involve lights specifically. I'm not entirely sure how that was noted on the front page, but regarding the liquidated damages aspect of your question, I would refer that to legal for further clarification.
Mr. Solicitor.
I have no opinion on that. The contractor bid on the project and said he could meet those deadlines, and we generally take them at their word. The liquidated damages clause are intended to protect the city from their inability to complete the project, and if they don't complete it on the terms that they bid, they'll have to pay the damages. Simple as that. It's a standard part of most of our contracts.
Thank you.
So I just want to make sure the city, we are fully ready and prepared to hit them with liquidated damages had they not meet completion of this.
Mr. Solicitor.
That's what we would have the right to do that under that clause. Whether we invoke that, typically in projects like this, if there's a minor overrun, then we extend the performance terms. We have the ability to do that, but that, depending on the scope of the project, that would be, at the discretion of Recreation and the mayor as to whether or not they impose those fees.
Madam Capo.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but just to respond to that, based on our conversations with the vendor and Superintendent Angelo's here in the audience, they are on board for that timeline. We obviously would follow through if they didn't meet that timeline, but those discussions have already been had.
Thank you. Having the superintendent here, would you mind approaching the podium? I'm sorry, I did not see you earlier. I would have called you. Counselor.
Good evening, councilors.
Good evening. How are you? Sorry about that. Did you have your hand raised, Counselor?
Yeah, I through you, Madam Chair. It's my question. I was going to say, when it came to the quality of work, who's going to check on the city side? And then Mr. Angelo came up, so I'm assuming he's in charge.
Correct. Yes, I've had conversations with JJ Phelan already about the timeline. We've been in constant conversation over the last 3 or so weeks just to make sure that the timeline is staying on point in terms of ordering. And obviously, there is some manufacturing time that goes into it, and that's why approving the contract tonight helps to expedite that, make sure that we have ready to go for the spring season.
Perfect. Any further questions? Counselor Marsan.
We didn't have enough money in the original CIP to approve the roofs. There was an amendment to it at $108,000 at the time when it was approved.
Correct.
Before, there was going to be an amendment had we had the number, and now we're only paying $84,000. It seems like a lot of money, but it is less than what was originally allotted for it at the beginning. So I guess you're going to say it's a deal, but it seems like a lot of money for 2 roofs. But I was able to obtain a picture of it, what they're doing. So, and it's imperative that the kids have the roofs on the dugouts. They need them there. So, thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Any further?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you
Counselor
through you.
Valley.
I haven't seen anything in the contract regarding ADA compliance. And I'm really concerned about that because that's one of the major issues lately in the cities with the new projects.
Correct. Yes, Councilor. So this is just for the roof structure itself. It's not actually for the installation of the concrete path. When we did the project itself and the initial scope of the original project, everything was done to ADA compliance.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion on this contract? Seeing none, discussion's over. Madam Clerk?
Councilor McLaren.
Yes.
Councilor Marsan.
Yes.
Councilor Pesh.
Yes.
Councilor Santos.
Yes.
Councilor Samad.
Yes.
Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Councilor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes. Thank you for your
Unanimous.
time.
All right,
and
thank you.
Explaining. Next item. Talty Floors, Inc., 86 Billerica Ave, Suite 2, North Billerica, Mass. 01862 for Timony, removal of carpets in Cove Base and installation of VCT tile in Cove Base in the amount of $64,804. I need a motion to approve. Motion from Counselor Drew. Second from Counselor DeZoglio. Discussion. Counselor Drew.
I have a few problems here with this contract. So let's see, specifications on this, they call the contract documents that say specifications, addenda, no addenda, but then the bid packet clearly shows addenda 1 and 2. So we just clarify so we don't have any sort of other major issues. And it looks like there's an insurance gap with this when it comes to the work being completed. The actual start date, it ends on the auto ends end of January, and I understand their insurance compliance will need to be updated. I'm assuming we'll just keep them going. But then the workman's comp is also ending at the end of May, when this project runs through into June. So just want to make sure that's captured. The other part of this that is very concerning to me is the questions that were asked was, is there a specific brand of Cove base in this carpet? Are we free to provide what we see fit for commercial option? Yes, we can see fit for the commercial option, but the school may want to see a sample. This is very open and ambiguous language, and as a subcontractor in my professional life, this is very open-ended. That will allow massive change orders if they just want to provide you with one kind of a crappy option for them to be able to come and say, nope, this is what we figured for, that's what we saw fit. If you want something else, it's going to be an upcharge. So there was a significant swing in the people who bid this. There were 12 bidders, and we have them from almost 200,000 down to 64,000. So I'm just very concerned as to, this contract in general.
Thank you, Counselor. I know we have other questions. Is it Mr. Ian Goslin, the one representing? Thank you. Thank you for coming to the podium. Just in case there's a question.
Oh, I couldn't see who was speaking. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I heard the voice, but I
need
couldn't see you.
my mad voice.
I'm sorry.
I'll do my mad voice. Okay. So, Counselor Drew had some questions. I'm not sure if you feel if you want to do that right now. If we want me to get more questions for you, do you have some answers for him?
I can give you whatever answers I get. I'm not an expert on Cove Base.
Yep.
You'll probably know more about it than I do. Obviously, we're not going to approve an inferior product. When we did go out to bid, we requested, and when you go out to bid, you can't tell them the brand you want, but you can say of similar quality. So we did put in Armstrong tiles or similar quality, color to be chosen by the school department, as well as there's one room of the 25 that'll be carpet squares. And I believe it was, I forget the name of it, Samsonite maybe, or similar, but it has to be a commercial grade, industrial grade carpet. So we gave a name brand or similar quality. I don't know if that answers your...
Yeah, it kind of answers it, but I mean, I know in Chapter 149, when you're doing those things, you can give them 3 options. You're required to give them at least 3. You can't flat spec something. So you didn't give them like a make, model. You just gave them, this is the brand, this is what we're going to use. You didn't say it had to be a...
Or similar quality, yeah.
Or similar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm concerned with the questions that were submitted during the bid process that allows them to be very open-ended in it. Yes, they can pick the color, but in all reality, they can say this is a commercial option and it could be the lowest grade that Samsonite or Armstrong may have, that we don't have the ability to...
We would have to approve it. So...
I just feel like this opening here, and I would ask the solicitor if what his thoughts are on this open-ended language.
They can, they'll present it to the school department before they install it, and they will be able to inspect and approve. So, I mean, yes, it would make sense for somebody with knowledge at the school department to make sure they're getting the quality that they expect.
Correct.
But they do have the opportunity to review and approve if they're providing a similar product. They get to approve it. So, agreed, it would be better to provide more details in the specs. I did not see this RFP, so I don't know what was in it. It was done through the school department, but typically there would be specs in there that would be more detailed.
Counselor DeZoglio, then I'm going to Santos. Anyone on this side?
So thank you, Madam Chair. Coming from the school side, where I've dealt with a lot of issues on the school and how it was done in the last 20 years, Methuen seemed to do the cheap way of getting things done, in which cost us more money down the road. So when I looked at the contract and I asked my fellow counselor that it is an expert in this, again, this is my feeling of Methuen leaving it up. Like, I'm not asking for the Cadillac of tile, okay? But I'm asking maybe in the middle. Like, and again, Methuen always seems to give the lowest thing just to put it in, and then in 20 years or 10 years, probably 10 years, we'll be sitting right back here trying to replace the tile again or replacing something else. So that's why my concerns are, is that, again, taxes keep going up because things down the road keep popping up. And it's costing the taxpayers now, not just what's happening today, but what happened 10 years ago when councilors voted on things that was the cheap, easy way of getting things done when they should have been going for the mid-grade or the bigger grade. And we wouldn't be in this issues. That's my opinion, and that's just what I've experienced on the school side, and that's why I really don't like this contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Santos.
Just adding to our Council Disoglu mentioned, I feel the same way. The quality of the job, that's my biggest concern. Another thing is that I have a question about paragraph 3. So the work is going to be done during the school vacation.
Correct.
So once you remove the current carpet that is installed, what are you going to place during the time that the kids are going back to school? So it's just going to be open, exposed? How is that going to work?
So all the work will be, they'll do probably half the rooms in February. We'll empty the rooms, they'll tear out the carpet, they'll install the new tile, we'll put the furniture back in half of the rooms, and then April vacation, we would do the other half of the rooms.
Okay.
There'd be no time the kids would be in there while it's a construction zone.
Okay, thank you for clarification. And another question I have is, why is the music room, instead of just doing the same material through the whole school, getting the carpet replaced? So 3 years down the road, we're going to be sitting here talking about the same thing again.
I'm not a musical expert, but it has something to do with the acoustics of the instruments and the singing and the sound reverberating off the hard floor. We are replacing it with carpet tiles so that should there be a case where, one tile tears or gets stained, we can pull out that one tile and replace that. Or we could pull out the several tiles that need replacing and replace that so that down the road we're not dealing with exactly what you said.
Okay, thank you so much for the
You're welcome.
clarification.
Great.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Going over to the mayor, if there's no further questions. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to provide some additional context. So what we're doing with this effort is we're trying to replace carpeting that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's been there in that school building for north of probably 25 years.
Yeah, between 25 and 30 years. It was during the renovation in the late 90s.
So we're talking about carpeting that's been in place since, I'll just be up front here, since I was probably about 10 years old. So this is long overdue. Some aspects of the Timony project has actually required some abatement relative to asbestos. There's been indication of asbestos glue under some of the prior carpeting that's been in place here. So
can I clarify that?
You can clarify, sure.
Yeah, we came to you last year in the spring for a similar contract, but it also included a contract for abatement. We did half the rooms that required abatement, we did over the summer. This is the half that do not require the abatement, do not have the asbestos adhesive.
Right, and for the sake of context, though, I share that because this isn't something that we do every 3 years. This is an effort to try to correct an issue that has gone unaddressed for in the ballpark of 30. So this is a long overdue improvement. Just to provide some context that might be helpful for the discussion. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
I'll go to Councilor Valley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the city solicitor, I noticed on the addendum 1, questions and answers, that it states that the vendors must dispose all the materials, the contractor. But I don't see that anywhere in the agreement. So my question to you, is not better to have like a clean, revised agreement instead of addendum 1, addendum 2, questions and answers and all that?
So typically, when we do these contracts, we certainly could do it that way, but they typically incorporate both the RFP and the response to the RFP as part of the contract. I know it's not attached here, but you would see that all the representations that the contractor made in their response, they would be held to under the contract, and that would include the obligation to remove and dispose of what they take out. So yes, it could be done that way, but we typically include them as addendums, include the RFP documents as well as the response documents incorporated into the contract, and that's what the contractor is held to, because the RFP generally has a lot more information in it and the responses to that RFP.
Thank you for the clarification.
Councilor
I do agree that it would be better practice, at least in the scope of work, to specify what the winning bidder said they would provide, because they obviously know what they're going to provide. So,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mr. Goslin. I think you can answer this one. Won't be too bad. On this, it calls for all furniture and items in the rooms to be moved by the custodial staff.
Correct.
Will there be a labor impact cost that that the school's going to incur, whether it comes from having people on overtime or anything like that, because this is outside of their normal scope of work, right? They're typically doing their day-to-day work during vacation time. Will they need to work longer hours or anything like that?
It should be minimal, if anything. Probably the Friday before vacation, we'd take extra custodians from other buildings, go over, empty the rooms that are being addressed on straight time. The only time that it might be some kind of overtime is if getting the room set up on that back weekend before the kids come back, but it should be very minimal.
Okay, and that cost, will that be incurred on the school side?
Correct.
And the school operating budget, not coming to the city for that?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussion on that matter? Councilor Marsan.
Sorry. So on question 8 from the bidders, it asked if the VCT tile and the carpet are being replaced, and the answer is, as the bid states, the VCT tile and rugs in the schools must be removed and replaced with new. That was the answer that was given.
Okay. I think if you look further on it, it clarifies that one.
Right, then the addendum says differently than that.
Correct. So in each of the rooms, there's a little strip of tile by the sink. And they were asking if they wanted to rip out the carpet as well as that strip of tile, or if we just wanted to butt up against those tiles.
Correct.
The answer is we just want the carpet replaced and butt up against the other tiles, so we're not incurring the cost of ripping out that, say, 3 feet wide strip near the sink.
Any further discussion or clarification?
Yes, Madam Chair. Next meeting, can we have someone from the purchase department to come to this meeting? Because to maybe give more clarification about the contract and in that sense, because Ian, you worked with them, but did not, the purchase department actually did this contract, correct?
Correct.
So,
Thank you, Counselor. For clarification, your purchase department is our purchase department, because I know we're in silos, so we're the same.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
In some areas, yeah.
Yeah, the city's purchasing department.
Okay.
All of our stuff goes through them.
Through them. Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
so maybe next meeting.
We can make that request. It has to be done through the chair to the mayor. I can make that request.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the mayor, can we have someone from the purchase department in the next meeting to come and help clarify any of the questions like Councilor Drew might have?
So something that would be very helpful is if you have specific questions to prepare them in writing so that we can have those answers provided rather than bringing a member of that team here without any knowledge of what specifically they're going to be asked. That way they can provide, I think, more clear answers perhaps than being put on the spot. So it's just a thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify, the purchasing department doesn't do the specs for the job. So the school department would do the specs for what work is being done. When it comes to purchasing, they're just making sure that the legal process has been followed. And then it comes to the solicitor's office for further legal review, just to make sure they're required. We have a contract ordinance, which you will become familiar with if you're not in Methuen, that requires a number of required clauses to be in the contract. That was passed by the city council. So, and we review it obviously for other things as well, insurance and other things like that. But the specs themselves are something that Ian can speak to.
Well, in this case, I did give Lori the specs. She prepared the RFP, sent the RFP out. She set up the walkthroughs. Of course, we joined her, but we did the walkthroughs as well as we came here for the bid opening while Lori and Jess did the bid opening. They did prepare the contract, et cetera. So, yeah, I did give them the specs of how many rooms, what we were looking for tile and that kind of stuff, and then they prepared the paperwork and went out to bid.
Thank you. Councilor Pesh had her hand up.
Thank you. Outside of asking specific questions to someone next meeting, my larger concern that was raised is the specificity of the material and the quality used. For me, that makes me a little uncomfortable, especially hearing from the solicitor that going forward, we should probably get that reduced to writing. I'm wondering if it would behoove us to table this so that we could at least, because it sounds like, and it looks as though we've used them in past in looking in this, like the Methuen Housing has used them. So I'm not insinuating that they're not a reputable company or they're not going to give us what they promised. I'm suggesting that perhaps we table this and then we can maybe add an addendum or something that reduces those verbal conversations that it sounds like you already had into writing so that we have that going forward before we formally vote on it. Because for me personally, while everything might be fine, I agree that if we need a certain quality, rather than just going with the least expensive bid, we need to make sure it's an apples to apples, right? So you suggested, and the word or similar always makes me nervous, like I built my house. Just
Right. If you would like, we could reach out and solidify exactly what colors, what product they plan to use, and have all that information for you, hopefully at your next meeting so that they can start in February. That suffice?
That would make me more comfortable. Okay. Yeah. With that, though, I would like to make a motion to table.
Can I just add something? So you certainly are free to do that. I would just let the council know you have other options. The RFP response is incorporated into this contract. I'm sure they've specified what they're using or will tell us what they're using. The council does have the authority to approve a contract and has a 36-hour period to undo that contract if 3 or more members decide that they didn't want it approved. So I just throw that out there for you, given the time sensitivity of this contract.
36 hours
I think
from
it's
when?
36 hours that you have to.
From when?
From when it's approved. You can rescind it within 3 days. So, and the mayor can't sign it. So it's a safety provision because contracts only require one read. So,
Okay.
But it's up to you. You can do it either way. It's just that you wouldn't have to wait till the next meeting if you were satisfied with the response that you got from Ian and the purchasing director in terms of what's being used. But it's certainly at your discretion.
So almost like a conditional approval,
Correct.
assuming that we would get supplemented that material within 36 hours from this vote.
Correct. Yes, you have that right to do on every contract.
Would a table impair the timeline here
I don't know.
for February? I mean, it looks as though they're doing it during February vacation, so I
mean,
didn't think.
They would have to purchase the supplies and all that kind of stuff, get there. So it could, I'm not going to say it's definitely going to.
Yeah.
I can reach out to them tomorrow and find out exactly. And I mean, I have my ideas on what I want, but and get back to you on exactly with the quality and if it's comparable to what we asked for in the first place. I can get that done hopefully tomorrow as long as they can get me the product.
I'll throw out a motion to table and leave it to the will of the council, just to see what
Second.
the will is.
I have a motion on the floor with a motion to table on the floor from Councilor Pesh with a second from Councilor DeZoglio. Madam Clerk, if you take a roll.
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Pesh,
Yes.
Counselor Santos,
Yes.
Counselor Samad,
No.
Counselor Valley,
No.
Counselor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Counselor Drew,
No.
and Chair Soto.
No.
5 yes, 4 no.
Motion carries. It's tabled.
Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
And see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Goslin, for your time. Next item, C2665, McGovern MHQ, Inc., 401 Elm Street, Marlboro, Mass. 01752, for 2026 Ford Super Duty F550 DRW XL 4WD regular cab in the amount of $211,906.40. I need a motion to approve. So
Second.
moved by Councilor Samard, second by Councilor Valley. Discussion. Open. Councilor Valley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Madam Caffel. I couldn't find this line item in FY 2026 CIP. I don't know what I'm missing here. I have it in front of me, physical, but I cannot find it.
1 second, let me just see what the language says. Yeah, it's a fiscal year 25 CIP, not 26.
It's 25.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not 26.
And the expense line, it's DPW trucks. That's what it was under.
Okay.
The total approved amount was $350,000. So if you're looking at the detail from the original plan, that's the line that we would be looking at. If you have it, maybe I can.
350,000, you said?
Was the total amount that was allocated for DPW trucks?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
FY 25.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
All set, Council?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
I had a question on this item. I'm going to pass this to the vice. Obviously, this is a special order. It has to do with the fact that it's for the next budget cycle, but we need the time, I'm assuming. Correct? Was it FY 27 on your impact statement? It was for, I thought that's what I read. Or am I on the wrong item?
Do you know
I think that might have been the generator then. I'll scratch that question. On the Ford Super Duty, are these vehicles taken home or these are just worked in the city? Do we know?
They're worked in the city.
Okay, thank you. I'll take my gavel back. Thank you, Madam Vice. All right, any further discussion, any further questions? Great, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan,
Yes.
Counselor Pesh,
Yes.
Counselor Santos,
Yes.
Counselor Samad,
Yes.
Counselor Valley,
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Counselor Drew,
Yes.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous, yes.
Motion passes. All right, next item. C26-66, Dago Electrical Construction Corp., 68 Industrial Way, Wilmington, Mass. 01887 for police and fire department replacement of generators, furnished and installed two new generators in the amount of $188,477. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Counselor Valley, seconded by Counselor Pesh. Discussion. Counselor Valley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Madam Caffel. So I see here 5 different accounts, but they don't specify which one belongs to the fire department or the police department. And I noticed the amount of $121,492 with 85 cents. That is 65% of the total of both generators. So who's paying for who?
So the individual lines, so you'll see 2 lines for fiscal year 24 and 2 lines for fiscal year 23. each one of those, one's fire, one's police, one's fire, one's police. So they're splitting those pretty evenly. The last portion, because the project came in higher than we had anticipated, we have a fiscal year 26 project that's for municipal property improvements. And so we're taking the remaining amount needed. It's 121,000, I believe it is. Yep, that's the amount that it's coming out of. So it's a general municipal building improvement line, and the mayor's approved that be the line that we take it out of.
Why is this a joint contract?
Because both departments needed the generators, the projects, and so it was cheaper, and I believe both chiefs are here, but I believe it was cheaper to have the project be in totality with both of them needing the work versus doing it as two separate projects.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before I go to you, if you please allow, I think Councilor Marsan, did you have your hand up?
Yeah.
Please go. Please.
So when we remove the existing generators, are we going to deem them surplus and then auction them? Because they're both operable generators. I know they're in disrepair, but they still run. So there might be some value there.
I love that idea. I love that idea. Anything that we can make money off of. I'm
Whatever
fine
we
with.
can
Yeah.
write, it's got to be worth, somebody wants it, it'll be worth something to someone.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to clarify for anyone who was wondering. So one generator is for the Quinn building, the other's for the central fire station. So that's why we're taking advantage of the opportunity to work with one contractor, but that explains why we're having this split between police and fire.
Thank you for that. Councilor DeZoglio.
Thank you, Madam Chair, to the mayor. The question I have, the previous generators, how old were they? Because I did a quick lookup. A commercial generator to a sizable building is 20 to 30 years old. Did these generators previously pass that lifetime expand? And then the new ones that we're getting, is it the same quality or better quality, et cetera?
So I don't have the exact age at the top of mind. However, what I will say is, like many other equipment issues in Methuen, I'll simply stick with the point that these are past their useful life. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
I see the chief is approaching the podium. Chief.
Hello. I can't speak for the exact age of our generator at Central, but it was there long before I got there. So I'm guessing 40, 50 years. It's a diesel generator. That generator needs some patchwork to get it to continue to run. And considering that all of our communications 911 system goes through the Quinn building as well as Central Fire, it's absolutely imperative to get these replaced. This diesel generator that we have at our Central station is getting replaced with a natural gas powered generator. So that was part of the project that's already been done through National Grid or Eversource ran a high pressure gas line to supply the gas for that generator that's been quoting. As the CAFO had said, the city contracted out with GPI engineering firm to combine as a cost saving measure to do all the specs for both buildings in order to get the generators spec'd out for what each building exactly needed and the install. So they're in charge of kind of overseeing all that. I don't know if that helps to answer.
Great. Any further questions from Mr. Mayor?
Not a question, just an interesting fact. Chief, correct me if I'm wrong or add any other information here, but surprisingly enough, generator is a factor in terms of departmental accreditation. So that speaks to the importance of a project like this.
Great, thank you for that. If I may ask a question, Chief, could you educate me on the need of the generator in the departments, what their use is? Is it
So
a backup?
If we lose power from from National Grid, then we go on battery backup for our 911 system, not to mention all our radio systems and the alerting system to alert all the other stations is all powered through that. So without power at Central Station, all that shuts down once the batteries run out. And the batteries really only support the 911 system. So the generator automatically fires, and we're always crossing our fingers that the current one is going to fire. Right now, we have an issue with, there's something called a transfer switch. When the generator, once the power in the street comes back, and the generator has to shut down, we can't shut the generator down until the town electrician comes to manually switch over from the generator to the Eversource power source. So that's a safety issue in itself.
Thank you. Thank you for that education piece. I'll take this back. All right. With that being said, if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote. A roll.
Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion passes. Congratulations. Thanks. Other officers and committee reports. There is none on the agenda. Just for the record, when you do have your committee meetings, that is where you will, the chair of that committee will alert that they're going to be reporting on their committee, and so your name will be there, and you could do a verbal report as well. You can submit a written minutes if you'd like. It's not mandatory. Just wanted to let you know that. 14 is unfinished business. There's none. Ordinances. 2521, an ordinance amending the winter parking ban. Request of Chief McNamara. I need a motion to remove from the table, please. So moved by Mike Samard.
Second.
Second by, I'm sorry, Counselor Samard. Seconded by Counselor DeZoglio. Discussion. Not sure if I know the chief did a public hearing on this earlier. He did speak in length about it. Not sure if he wanted to approach the podium, if you had any further questions.
It's just for the table.
I'm sorry, for the table. Yep. Vote. I'll take a roll call. Madam Clerk, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's okay. Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes to remove from the table.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Now on the main motion.
Motion to approve the ordinance?
Thank you, Counselor
Second.
Pesh. Motion to approve. Seconded by Counselor Valley. Open for discussion, counselors? Counselor Samard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did have a concern earlier about the Arlington district and where they would park. The fact that Linda Susi got up here again to speak on behalf of option 2, I'm definitely all for it. So I'm glad that she was here. Thank you.
Great. Any further? Counselor Marsan.
So because this is, we need this done, and we removed it from the table, and, even Linda Susi and the chief of both, lobbying for it. It's just at the next meeting, can we get the clarity we were asking for on some of our questions? That's all, just to make sure that we get things addressed.
Sure, absolutely. I've already taken the liberty of trying to draft an amendment that Councilor Pesh had suggested earlier. So already working in that regard.
Thank you.
Great. Any further questions or discussions? Madam Clerk, I'll take a vote.
May I ask if this is option 1 or 2?
This is, I'm sorry, are we approving option 2? That was the recommendation of the chief for us to vote for option 2. So when the Madam Clerk takes the roll, you are opting for option 2.
Thank you.
I have a clarification question from Councilor DeZoglio.
Can we say I motion for option 2, or it's just fine?
The motion is to approve option 2. If you are no on option 2, please vote no.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor McLaren.
Yes.
Counselor Marsan.
Yes.
Counselor Pesh.
Yes.
Counselor Santos.
Yes.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Congratulations. Motion carries. All righty. New business resolutions. TR 26-1. I believe that is, that's coming back in front of us. They wanted an APA, so I'll take guidance from the solicitor for it to be taken off the agenda, or would you like me to have the body table?
You can do either. You can delay the vote till the next meeting, or you
Let's
can
just-
lay it on the table.
Just skip it and leave it.
Yep.
Leave it as
And
is.
stay
Just
on the
move
agenda
on.
for next meeting.
So I'll take it.
Motion to delay the vote till next meeting?
So I have a
Motion
motion
to-
on the table.
Fine. You can do that. I think he's going to come back with something new anyway for the next meeting. That's what I heard, but yeah.
Okay. So I have a motion to
Second.
Second by Counselor Valley. I'll take a roll call vote on that. Counselor, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Counselor McLaren,
Yes.
Counselor Marsan,
Yes.
Counselor Pesh,
Yes.
Counselor Santos,
Yes.
Counselor Samad,
Yes.
Counselor Valley,
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Counselor Drew,
Yes.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carries. TR 26-2, resolution authorizing a transfer of funds from the Edwin J. Castle Fund to Methuen Senior Center, request of the Commission on the Trust Fund. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Counselor DeZoglio, seconded from Counselor Valley. Discussion. Question, Counselor Santos.
So I have two questions on this. So the first one is, did we shop around? I think this is for the casa. Can you get closer to the microphone? Oh, sorry. Thank you. I have a question for you, CAFO, right? Did we shop around for this item?
So this is us approving the funding of a purchase that the senior center will make with these funds. So we aren't making it at this time. This is just to approve the money to come from the Castle Fund to do so.
And another question I have is, I was looking for the guidelines for the Edwin Casos funds, and I couldn't find it.
So there's a super old document, and I can absolutely share that with the council, about what's an appropriate use of those funds and what isn't. This would be an appropriate use of those funds, but I can give you the actual document. It is not new, but I will provide it so that you have that background.
Okay, thank
And
you. Also,
those questions come to me. What
balance
is
on the
appropriate? So.
I'm sorry?
The balance on the account.
There's $414,000 available.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote on that.
Counselor McLaren,
Yes.
Counselor Marsan,
Yes.
Counselor Pesh,
Yes.
Counselor Santos,
Yes.
Counselor Samad,
Yes.
Counselor Valley,
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Counselor Drew,
Yes.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carries. Ordinances. TO 26-1, an ordinance amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance on the City of Methuen, 262 House Street, request of petitioners. I believe this has to be tabled to go to Community Development Zoning/Zoning Board.
I'll make a motion to table for a public hearing with the Community Development Board.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion from Counselor Marsan, seconded by Counselor Valley. Take a roll call. Madam Clerk, please.
Counselor McLaren,
Yes.
Counselor Marsan,
Yes.
Counselor Pesh,
Yes.
Counselor Santos,
Yes.
Counselor Samad,
Yes.
Counselor Valley,
Yes.
Counselor DeZoglio,
Yes.
Counselor Drew,
Yes.
and Chair Soto.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion carries. TO 26-2, an ordinance amending the wage and salary classification plan, the position of the Assistant Council Clerk. Request of Counselor Soto. I need a motion to amend.
Motion to amend.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the fact that our hardworking council clerk has a qualified assistant, Miss Ferry. How long has she worked? I'm not familiar with how long she's worked in that capacity.
So our assistant clerk is in the room. If she can approach the podium, I would appreciate that. I also distributed, and I'm sorry, I should have prefaced, well, now's the time anyhow, her resume when she was hired by the body originally. Again, I don't want to answer on your behalf, but I believe we took that vote in 24. I could be wrong, but if you could just...
I've provided my resume, but I started in May of 2024. I was hired.
Okay, and obviously this increase in the wage and salary will put us over budget, and I'm guessing that come April, May, it'll transfer from free cash, I'm guessing. Is that what we anticipate?
So Counselor Samard, yes. I also did some research. I'm sorry, I meant to say that earlier. Some research on the other clerk positions in the building for referencing. You are correct. On the impact statement, the CAFO did state that we would have to make a transfer. Before putting this on the floor, I did look at our budget in the legal department where we have some personnel dollars available in order for that to happen if this vote does pass. So
Okay,
we do
thank
have
you.
that funding.
Thank you, Lisa.
Any further questions on?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to clarify something. I've received a text message of one of my constituents on the West stating that this position was created by ordinance, but I have in front of me that it was adopted, a home rule petition passed by the state legislator, and it was signed by the governor on November 1st of 2022. So Chapter 252, an act establishing an assistant clerk of the city council in the city of Methuen. It was approved by the governor November 1st, 2022. So the position was not created by ordinance. It's by the charter like we have here in front of us. I just wanted to clarify that.
Correct, and I'll defer to the solicitor in case he wants to confirm that.
Nope, it's a charter position. It was created by the last council. This body obviously voted on it and requested the home rule amendment to the charter, which was approved by the legislature and then signed by the governor. So those are the correct citations.
Thank you. Any further questions? Counselor Drew?
I guess my question kind of goes to this schedule of pay scale. Where exactly did we come up with this pay scale? Just for clarifications.
Yes, thank you, Counselor Drew. This is one of my pet peeves here. I'll defer over to you, Madam Caffo, if you may, because this falls under.
Sure. So this is the same structure as well. We have a document for the new counselors. We have a document that's called the wage and salary classification. And in that document, there's multiple different sections based on CBAs, or in some cases it's council employees or unaffiliated department heads, et cetera. And it maps out exactly how much each person makes and on what step. And for those that are dictated by CBAs, they match up with the CBAs, et cetera. But this is kind of that all-encompassing document. And I can absolutely provide that to all of the counselors so you know what the current one looks like as far as, it's a big document, but it's an inherited document that we've spent multiple years trying to get in line and kind of smooth out some of the things that are in there that maybe spiked here and there or were outliers to what they should be. So anytime a new position comes forward, we have to do an ordinance to put that position on the wage and salary classification. Anytime a position comes forward that you want to do a change in their salary classification outside of a CBA, COLA, et cetera, we have to bring forward a wage and salary classification ordinance. So that's what you see here tonight, specific to this position, but that is a very standard language that you would see along with the schedule. So what you see, at least I'm going to reference my financial impact statement. What I've done is provided what the current wage and salary classification says for this position, and then also included what's being proposed so that you can kind of see those differences. What this ordinance, is doing as well is currently the employee in the position is at maximum, like the different steps, she's at maximum. What this does also is actually pushes her back on that salary schedule. So now she won't be going from maximum to maximum. And I apologize if this is incorrect, but she'll be going from maximum and then she'll go back to step one and start stepping again. That was a lot. I'm sorry. I can answer any questions you might have.
Does that satisfy your question, or are you confused?
Yeah, it satisfied the question on the, where we got that scale. I guess that kind of snowballs into another question, is why we went to step one versus the minimum step, and brings that to that table.
So the question you're asking me currently is, why am I starting over? Why are we starting over? Not me.
This step here, this table shows a minimum step, step 1, 2, 3, 4.
May I ask?
Is the minimum not a step that we're allowed to start at, or is it?
So the old, sorry, let me pull it up. The one you have in front of you, correct? Where the weekly and the minimal annual step, is that the one you're talking about, or the old? I just want to be clear.
I'm looking at the actual ordinance there, what you put in there. 26-2, the.
Okay. So you're asking where she's starting?
Yeah, so why are we starting her at step 1 versus step, the minimum? Because if I look at the original, what she's currently employed at, she's at $58,000 roughly. We're looking at a $16,000 a year increase to this salary of this position. That's a significant increase to a position.
Correct. To your point, Counselor, that is the reason did you have your hand raised, the Chief of Staff? No, I'm sorry. I misread your gesture. The classifications, when you look at the research I provided you, and it was provided earlier today, when you look at the clerks in this building, they are all over the place. And that is the pet peeve. And I've had this conversation with HR, I've had this conversation with the solicitor and with the CAFO. So you basically have people in positions, okay, clerk positions, that you see you have someone in a like beginner clerk position and like a third, and you have the research in front of you, and there's a lot of disparity in the building. So what this ordinance does is brings it into unison, because right now she's actually below what her role is supposed to be making, based on when you look at the research provided.
Yeah, I look at what you have here from what's going on in the building.
Those are actual jobs budgeted in the building that are clerk positions from 1 to 3.
So,
and again, I don't want to specifically call out any particular
I'm not looking
clerks.
to talk about individuals. I'm looking at the position of this in more of our current council budget. We are forecasting to go over as it stands, right? Because there will be an increase to our budget. Do we know where our budget actually is? What was the dollar value again?
So I can ask the CAFO to answer that question for you. But meanwhile, the statement I made earlier that we looked at the legal services and the surplus, because we have an additional surplus under legal services, that's where that would come from now in 2026. You're correct, we would have to appropriate for it again in 2027.
And our budget in 2027 will increase by about $20,000 based on this. Am I forecasting that properly?
You would ask the
CAFO? I apologize, Madam Chair.
I think it would be a little less than that. It would be probably more like 16 or 17.
Well, if the step would increase, if we keep it at step 1, would increase to step 2 as of July 1st, yes?
No, so the step would increase as of, if it went into effect, if this is approved the way that it's written now, it would go into effect at the end of January after the second read. So then a year from then is when she would step again.
Okay, so the step goes on the anniversary of the passage.
Of the effectiveness.
January 5th. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Counselor DiZoglio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the question I have also is, just say when Lisa leaves this position, is this going to be the permanent steps for this individual? So like an assistant clerk just had I don't know the qualifications of an assistant clerk, But if I'm just at a college and I'm 25 years old, and I get an assistant clerk's job, they'll be making 68,000. That's more than a Lawrence teacher when they start off. So that's the question is, I feel like what are the current qualifications? Maybe I should have done more research, but I'm going off of Lisa's resume, and the way I look at it as we're doing it towards the individual and not what this position will be in the future. That's where I'm concerned about too. I like I said, I'll look into it. What is the qualifications of an assistant clerk? But I'm looking at it as a 25-year-old or 28-year-old that just gets out of college and looks for a job and gets it. They'll be making more than a Lawrence public school teacher when they first start. So that's just my concern. And Mr. Solicitor, it's not,
I can address that for you. So while the council has chosen to do this by salary schedule, it's not required to do that. It can do it by contract. Every time you appoint these positions, the council appoints the city solicitor, the council clerk, and the assistant council clerk. Each time you do that, you're free to change their salary to whatever is your pleasure. Typically, there's a raise involved, but you can do it's at your discretion under the charter. These are not positions controlled by the mayor. They don't have to be part of the salary administration plan. The charter makes it clear that you can set the salary. The council has chosen in the past to put them on a salary schedule. Some positions are on a salary schedule. Some positions are not on a salary schedule, which is not uncommon for non-union type positions. So it's totally at your discretion. If you decide that the position is vacant and you want to make changes to it at a later date, you're free to do that. So it's totally within the council's discretion as a voting body.
One more question. One of the other things, when you were doing the research, I saw that you did it through the building. Have we ever done like other municipalities and compared them to us?
I did.
Oh. Okay.
Counselor DiZoglio, would you like to know what her research was? And I can
Yes.
defer over to Counselor Valley and she can answer that question.
I checked other municipalities like Lowell, Haverhill, Lawrence, Fitchburg, Springfield, and they are between 60 to 75,000.
All right. And also, are they this, through you, Madam Chair, to Councilor Valley, do they have the same population than us, tax?
Fitchburg and Springfield are closer to
All
the
right.
city of Methuen, yes.
Have, through you, Madam Chair, I'm sorry. One of the things that I would recommend, and I will look at them up, Peabody is actually a closer municipality to us. I would recommend we also look at them as well and see what they're doing as city clerks as well and see what the bracket is. Because I feel like that will not just help with this position, but will help with all the positions. And if we could fix that as a council, we could do that down the road. Thank you, Madam Chair.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Counselor DiZoglio. Any further questions, discussion? Ella?
Thank you, Madam
Counselor
Chair.
McLaren.
Question for you. Just to clarify, this would put the clerk's salary closer to other clerks in the building, correct? So it would be more similar to similar positions?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if I may, if there's no further, Counselor Santos, sorry.
Just for information, if the city council clerk decides to retire or leave her position, can the assistant clerk apply for this open position if she decides to?
I'll
retire
I'll answer the question, Counselor Santos. We would, and of course, still open the position, I would assume, an interview. But obviously, one of the things that happens in that office is the institutional knowledge. Today, I had a conversation with Linda, and she's been here 35 years. And so the moment we lose Linda, or not that we're going to lose her, but that she decides to retire, we lose that institutional knowledge. And so when I came on the council, the previous council that was here had educated, at that point, Chair Ferretra, myself, that they did try to hire an assistant clerk that lasted 2 weeks through, 2 months. It wasn't long. They just left. And so it's not a position easy to fill because of, as you can see, there's late nights. There's also a lot of note taking. You have to document a lot. You have to deal with all these personalities in the room. But not only that, the institutional knowledge has to be carried on to that person. So unless there's an applicant from another municipality, let's say, and that's rare to happen in the clerk's office. It happens a lot in solicitor's office. It happens a lot with CAFO and other departments.
I just want to clarify, we only had one viable applicant. So it does not happen. It's hard to recruit from other communities.
I appreciate that comment. So in essence, and this is a personal opinion of mine, it is a tedious job. So I would hope that the assistant council clerk would apply to that position. Now, that being said, the process for hiring has a protocol and a process, and this body would obviously assign a committee to, and I believe the HR director would probably be part of that. I believe that's the way you guys did that before. So that's to answer that question, if that answers.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Councilor Samard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm on the fence myself, and after hearing some of my fellow councilors, not sure this is going to pass. I think maybe we need some more deliberation, maybe some more, homework on our part, since we just got this last week and there was the holiday. We haven't been able to price shop, so to speak. So I would entertain the table to maybe do that, so we don't end up with a no vote and insult our assistant clerk. So I think that might be something that I would entertain.
I second that motion.
Okay, so I have a motion to table from Councilor Samard. I have a second from Councilor Valley. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilor McLaren.
Yes.
Councilor Marsan.
No.
Councilor Pesh.
Yes.
Councilor Santos.
No.
Councilor Saman.
Yes.
Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Councilor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Councilor Drew.
Yes.
And Chair Soto.
No. Motion.
6 yes, 3 no.
It's tabled. Next item. TO 26-3 TO 26-3, an ordinance amending section 7-A of the City of Methuen's Municipal Code requested by the Mayor Beauregard. Motion to amend. I need a motion to amend and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to amend by Councilor DeZoglio, seconded by Councilor Santos. My apologies. Discussion, please. Councilor Santos.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I see your hand.
Just have a couple of questions, Madam Mayor. Madam.
You need to turn on your, thank you.
I have a couple of questions, Madam. So the first one is, how much is it now?
So if I could share just a brief statement regarding the logic behind this, and I'll outline, of course, what the current amount is. The reason why I'm proposing this, especially at the outset of the new year with a new transition in our government, I think we have all a shared collective goal to do whatever we can to make government more efficient, first of all, but also to do a better job when it comes to ensuring that we provide more timely delivery of municipal services to our residents. So that's what I'm aiming for with this. Currently, any contract valued at $25,000 or above comes to the council for a vote, but that means that any contract with, say, services attached to it over $25,000, it's put on hold until the council takes a vote on it. For many years, as recently as 2021, the contract threshold was $50,000. There are some cities in the Commonwealth that don't have a threshold at all. I'm not asking certainly for that. All I'm asking the council to consider is the prospect of reestablishing the $50,000 threshold so that we can help move the provision of municipal services along a little more efficiently while maintaining the strength and fiscal protections that we established with this original ordinance back in 2021. There was a time when in our ordinances there wasn't even a formal definition of what a contract was. So the logic behind properly defining that in that original ordinance, obviously that stands. My only ask is for the council's consideration of an adjustment to the threshold level, just so that we can move things along a little quicker. Thank you, council.
So right now it's $25,000. So there's several things that I feel about all this. We just purchased a castle about a year and a half ago that has put us in a financial hardship right now. So I just don't feel comfortable about increasing the threshold.
Just keep in mind, Councilor, that the estate was a lot higher than $50,000.
Yeah, I understand, but right now we need
Sure.
to safeguard every single penny.
Sure.
And I feel that this is our first meeting for new councils. I'm going to talk about myself. Being in the first meeting and having this proposal in front of me, I just don't feel comfortable about it. Not at this time. So I'm going to ask to table this.
You're making a motion to table?
Yes.
I have a motion to table on the floor. Not hearing a second, or is moving on to further discussion?
Just wanted to say
Counselor.
thank you for your concern and for your comments.
Counselor Pesh.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I understand the request for more, being able to expedite certain things, and I get it. Recently, I would say that I became extremely illuminated to the residents really, really disgruntled about their tax dollars. So I feel like as a committee, this is the time for more scrutiny where things are going and less autonomy, not more. So I understand from where you're coming. I have to agree with Councilor Santos. I just don't think this is the time for more autonomy, in my opinion. Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Counselor Drew.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to the mayor. Mr. Mayor, you're asking for an increase from 25 to 50,000, saying that we are looking at trying to expedite some things. How many contracts are we talking about annually that we're actually going to be affected from 25 to 50,000? Are we talking 25 contracts per year? Are we talking hundreds of contracts per year?
Certainly not hundreds. So in calendar year 2025, there was a total of 97 vendor contracts that came before the council. 73 of them were above 25,000, above 50,000. 24 of them were below 50,000. So this would impact roughly a quarter of the amount of contracts and paperwork that we're required to send through for council.
So you're saying basically we're seeing on average with 26 meetings per year about three items per meeting for your approval of things that you're approving, yes?
Roughly.
Counselor Samard, and then I'll come back to this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I can just give a little bit of history on why, as a council, that we, as a city council, we went from 50,000 to 25,000 because the previous mayor, first thing he did when he came in at the time was he hired a consultant at $49,999. Consultant to DPW, which
Mayor Jajuga.
Yeah, Mayor Jajuga, yeah. And again, that didn't go over too well, not only with the council, but it didn't go over too well with the employees that he affected, that person who came in and was a consultant, but really ran the show. So that was the reason why we changed from 50 to 25. So I just want to give a little bit of history on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Valley, then I'll go back to Counselor Santos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mayor, I do support efficient government, but I think this ordinance is shifting like too much authority away from the city council. So for that reason, I want support this.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Santos is.
Another thing I forgot to add was that while I was doing my research, I noticed that the vendor list hasn't been updated for the last year. Since July of
That's off the topic.
Councilor Valley, I'm managing the meeting. If you could hold your remarks. If you could finish your sentence, and then we'll defer over.
Since 2024, it hasn't been updated. So the reason why I was looking into it is because obviously the increase in the threshold is to be paying to our vendors. So I just wanted it to see the activities.
So we have a brand new financial transparency dashboard that we launched in the past year, and that includes now all of our vendor information about various expenditures, but it's now in real time, and it's on this interactive database. So you can look back at the past couple of fiscal years. So that information is now housed in the dashboard, just so you know.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
All set, Councilor? Going over to Councilor DeZoglio.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you to the mayor. Mr. Mayor, if there was a meeting that you needed a special meeting, you could call it for your contract, correct? So,
yes.
Yeah. So if you, I think a lot of the issues that people might have, you have that ability. Which, if you need to call a special meeting, I will be happy to attend to make sure our contracts are passed. However, I will say the mayor has actually, I believe in trusting in him, the ability, because he was elected twice by the people in Methuen. So I just want to also, but I understand people's concern about keeping power, as I was on the school side and we left power to one individual. I could see both sides of those issues, but I just want to know that if you really need a special meeting to be called, please call.
All set, Councilor. Any further discussion? I have a question which I'll transfer over to the Vice Chair. My question, and maybe this is to the CAFO and the Mayor, have we paid out $50,000 or more in this past? Have we paid any invoices of $50,000 or more?
Anything
But they've all had to come in front of us because obviously the threshold is 25.
anything over 25 would have to come to you, yeah.
So, in essence, I also see, not that you're doing this or we're doing this, this is, because you could see, for example, in a acquisition like the Seals Estate, I'm assuming that's the castle the counselor was referring to, you could end up in bid splitting, right? Because if you don't have that threshold, and we're not supposed to do that, right? That's unallowed. But over the summer, half of this council saw some invoicing that was past due to a vendor, and it was 22 here, 23 there. And so I want to remind those that were here, those that weren't, please go back to that meeting in July, or I can send it to you. But in essence, I can see how maybe to alleviate and avoid certain things, we're trying to bring this to par. I also see the point where, a mayor did something and it was brought back for security, understanding that the counselor that made 7A a priority is here too. And I'm saying not on the table, but in the room, because I looked at those videos for context of this, just so you know, of that previous council. But to that point, I feel, thank you. I feel that this body, I understand the reservations of the new council saying, hey, I'm new. The counselors that have been put in certain positions about, holding the overspending or being frivolous or whatever, how the discretion of maybe later on bringing this back to the table. So those are just my thoughts, but.
And one last thing, if I may,
yes,
Madam
of course.
Chair. So, I'm just trying to find ways to make our government more efficient, a little faster, just in terms of what we're doing. But nevertheless, there are going to be some ideas that I have, that we have, that we agree to, others that we don't, and I understand that, and I appreciate the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there's no further discussion, I'll take a roll call vote on that, Madam Clerk.
Counselor McLaren.
No.
Counselor Marsan.
No.
Counselor Pesh. Counselor Santos.
No.
Counselor Samad.
Yes.
Counselor Valley.
No.
Counselor DeZoglio.
Yes.
Counselor Drew.
No.
And Chair Soto.
No.
7 no, 2 yes.
Motion fails. Any other business for the good and welfare of the community? This is the time for you as a counselor to mention anything that you'd like to discuss before we adjourn this meeting. And if I see none, I will take a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Counselor Marsan. Seconded.
Yeah. Second.
Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, Methuen.
Ready to take a roll?
Take a vote.
Ready to take a roll? I don't need to.
I don't think I need, but good night, Methuen.